Hey everybody, welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and I am medicated. My Meniere's disease is kicking in hardcore today, lots of vertigo, and lots of pseudoephedrine accordingly, so I'll have to listen in tomorrow to find out what I'm about to do today. And joining me for this medicated mirthdom adventure is none other than Quiz. How you doing this week?
I've got my good mic with me, so hopefully I won't sound as horrible as last time.
Yeah, I was just about
Sorry
to
about
say,
that.
that's good that you brought your Blue Yeti along. Quality for our audience, quality only.
Yes.
And rounding out our triumvirate of awesome is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
How are you?
Medicated, man, medicated. I went to the pharmacy and I got prescription strength pseudoephedrine, 60 milligrams of kick your ass power. I don't understand the chemistry involved in turning pseudoephedrine into meth, but I absolutely believe it's not very many steps, because it's pretty methy on its own, man. Jesus. And chat, the ongoing problems of volume levels. How are Jack and Inquisitor compared to myself? If they need to be turned up, Brian need to be turned down, or vice versa, let me know, and I will adjust accordingly. Before we got started, before I even bring up the thumbnail for this week, which I'm a particular fan of, by the way, the last night we got shocking news. Well, yesterday morning, rather, we got shocking news, and but it all turned out okay. Friend of the show, longtime minion, one-ton hammer, had a stroke last night, and we're like, holy shit. And he tweets it out that, he's at the hospital being taken care of and stuff. And like, you got all this big support. You can tell how really well liked Hammer is. Because I mean, like, holy shit, all this stuff just floods at him. We were all like legit worried for the guy. But good news coming out of it, because he recognized the symptoms, got his ass to the hospital right away in an ambulance. Medicine is prescriptions are all that's going to be required to take care of it. No long lasting effects. Fuck, I was happy to hear that, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Hammer's extremely well liked around these parts. He's a really solid, good guy. And so yeah, that was great. Take care of your health, man. Holy shit, that's. I mean, that's what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
One thing amongst many, because yeah, it was deep, but like I said, pretty worried there for a minute, but luckily we found out quite quickly that. Yeah, he was going to be okay, so that's good news. But speaking of Thanksgiving, we do have. Hold on here, just Miss Slideshow. Hold on, just Boomer Polly. One moment. There it is. How's that for a Thanksgiving thumbnail, y'all? It'll slowly come up. Come on, sexy pilgrims. That's a thing. You know what so I go around looking for an image to use for Thanksgiving, right? There is a disturbing amount of pilgrim and turkey porn online.
I think your idea of disturbing an amount or underselling what is on there.
Underselling, yeah. I was not expecting giant human-dicked turkeys doing all manner of degenerate things. What the fuck is wrong with people? I was looking for an image like this. Sexy image, sexy pilgrim. It's great. I mean,
and so you have to remember, this is the same universe where things like the ET porn exist. You've been binging the Cinema Snob,
Yes. That and it when I was looking like different word searches and stuff, came up like all kinds of cosplay for sexy pilgrims. There's girls that show up at parties where they're just wearing skimpy ass lacy lingerie and happen to have the old school buckled pilgrim hat on. And I'm like, this is my cosplay. That's not cosplay, bitch. You put a hat on and showed up in your underwear.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't arguing. I'm just saying. Polly beat it to the turkey porn. No, I was showing those guys over on Monkey in the Morning when I was trying to put this image together, what the hell was going on, and it was just, how are you supposed to look for stuff with your safe search on? Because this counts as sexy, because her butt's showing. She has underwear on. Calm down, YouTube. There's underwear there. It's a thong. It's fine. But unfortunately, with this stuff comes along with the Rule 34 animated turkey porn. Oh man. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Things get pretty degenerate over at DeviantArt, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was mainly furry porn, you know.
There we go. Fuck. It's harder and harder to find these smallest switches. Well, no. Monkey says that I'll be surprised that there's Santa porn. No. I was conditioned to that several years ago. There's a lot of rapey Santas out there in the minds of DeviantArt artists, unfortunately.
So which is worse, the rapey Santas or the homicidal Santas, like the one WebM I sent you?
Homicidals.
Where the
Oh,
little girl
yeah.
comes down and says, Santa, and he goes, shh, no witnesses, and then he shoots her with a silenced pistol.
Yeah, and then he shoots the kid. Man.
And then puts her in a wood chipper. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's probably the worst part, is that he's holding the legs of a small girl while putting into a fucking... Jesus. Right. Anyway, so...
No witnesses, Polly!
So to give you an idea of the kind of nerdy arguments that happened, that spawned this show to take it to a live stream, that were happening offline. Well, they were online, but not on streams, between Jack, Inquisitor, and myself. Before we went live, I was looking for a certain comic that I was going to pitch today, and came across a comic that I had forgotten about. And I said, oh, here's the first appearance of Venom. And Jack says, well, that's comic scene number 2. Was that it? Yeah. So it's comic scene number 2. And I'm like, no. And he goes, well, that's the first appearance of Venom. And I'm like, no. And so disagreement ensued. And I'm like, it's not a big appearance. The whole point is that it's a small appearance, and that's why only hyper nerds know about it. And so Jack goes searching it, and it becomes a question for me. Which one actually came out first? Comic scene or Web Spider-Man number, what is it, 19? Hold on. I've already forgotten, and I looked at the cover. 18.
Amazing Spider-Man 299. First cameo. First full appearance was Amazing Spider-Man 300 in May of 1988.
Yeah, but that's some normie shit, man. Yeah, the first splash page in comic appearance of Spider-Man is 299, but it's one page at the end when he's threatening Mary Jane. And then full issue, you're right, is 300. But that's some normie shit. We can do earlier than that, right? Okay. So here's my argument for what is the first appearance of Venom. And it's small, but hey, we're fucking nerds. That's how we roll. So where's my comic capture button? There it is. So here's the last page of Web Spider-Man, number 18. There's Spider-Man. And y'all, Alan Silvestri. Fuck, what a great artist. Anyway, here's Peter Parker. He's standing on the bridge platform. Whack! There it is. That hand right there is the first appearance of Venom. He goes, that boy, he'll be run over. But of course, he's Spider-Man. He's got spider powers. And so he jumps out of the way. And he's like, but my spider sense, it didn't even warn me. That's Eddie Brock's hand. He has the symbiont on. And as Venom, he never trips Spider-Man's spider sense. It's one of the things. The suit, the symbiote never tripped his spider sense either. And while Brock is wearing it, neither does he. And this was him testing whether or not he can detect his spider sense, or will trip his spider sense. And the answer is no. You find out in a later issue, this was Brock who was pushing him. So I argue September 1986, Web of Spider-Man number 18 is the first appearance of Venom. Jack, what do you think?
What? Wait, what date?
September 1986 is well, it's the
86?
At least in the interim, then, what exactly is spider sense? I mean, is it like precognition in some? Like,
that's the way they always say it, is precognition. Yeah, and it's like I'd like to. It's like proportional strength of a spider.
Yeah, well, yeah, and well,
they would say like proportional powers of a spider. Do spiders have a precognitive spider danger sense?
Exactly, like, because that's like magic, dude. That's not like a an animal power like say Wolverine's acute senses.
Right.
That's like something magical because like I don't know.
I think we're splitting hairs. I mean, that's a world with magic and people flying and shooting laser beams from their eyes.
I'm just saying, man, Marvel always prided itself on being the I'm not gonna say world outside your window, but the science run amok was what they used to say.
Yeah, dude got bit by a spider and can climb walls now. A radioactive spider. He's not dead.
Well, okay, again though, radioactive spider climbing walls, plausible. Proportional strength of a spider, plausible. Intuition for like danger sense. What? How is that, indicative of being a spider?
I don't. These are questions I have no answers to. What issue were you looking at, Polly?
18. It's like September. So you ran the comic store. That's the pull by date, though, right? It's always like a month early or whatever.
2 months usually.
2 months. So like we're like the cover date is September, number 18. I also want to point something out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Silvestri really knows how to draw Mary Jane, right? I mean, damn. That's just what she's wearing around the house when she answers the door.
I can see why you're saying this is his first appearance, but this is more of a cameo.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like when I say it's Venom, I'm simply arguing that it's Eddie Brock who has a symbiote on him. And that's it. And he's dressed up in civilian garb because Eddie Brock does that a whole fucking bunch. So did Spider-Man when he had the symbiote. It can simulate whatever clothing he wants.
Did any artist ever draw Mary Jane with no pants but wearing a button-down t-shirt?
Yeah.
I don't want to help you with your fat bank, man.
We mentioned that when we were watching old commercials. I said that that's gone the way of the dinosaur, and that's a shame because that is one of the sexiest things a woman can do. Swear to God.
Yeah,
Monkey's like, it's a goddamn hand. His hand's not black. It can't be Venom. It's okay. Listen, this is on like some next level shit. All right, this is nerddom, man. Like, come on.
No, the cameos aren't considered full appearances. Unless they're like their full body is in it. In which case, the first comic book appearance of Venom is Amazing Spider-Man 300, which came out in May of 1988.
Okay, hold on. You don't think that 299 counts as the first full appearance when you get a full splash page of Venom?
Well, it's not considered that because it's a cameo.
Huh.
So it's not the first issue where he's in. Because Wolverine's technical first appearance would be in Hulk 180, but his first actual appearance is 181, where he's actually part of the story. Because he's only in one panel at the end of the book. It's a cameo appearance. It's not a full appearance. He's not doing anything in the book. He's just like, I'm here. No.
I think the definitions have been skewed somewhat then, because the thing that immediately comes to mind, at least for me, is the whole America Chavez. It's like America Chavez meets the X-Men for a single page, and then they're gone for the rest of the comic.
Well, yeah, that's a good call. The X-Men technically had a cameo. Storm was the only one that was actually, quote, in it, if you know what I mean. Nightcrawler's on for literally one panel, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a cameo. That's not an actual appearance. That it's they're like extras. They're not going to get top billing because they're not supposed to get top billing because they're not technically part of the story.
I told Gabby Rivera that.
Yeah, well, she's a dumbass anyway, so I'd be too busy trying to correct her spelling and her idea of what words mean because she's kind of dumb.
Yeah. Yes.
But my argument is that since the broader industry as a whole agrees that Amazing Spider-Man 300 is his first comic book appearance, his first full technical appearance is Comic Scene #2.
So let me see if I get this right. You're arguing that appearance only counts if it's like, he or she is a significant inclusion in the story. But you're arguing that the word appearance can be applied to him in a comic scene magazine?
Yes. Because Eddie Brock as Venom first appears where he is absorbed, has the costume on, full-fledged in comic scene #2. It's part of a news article that was released previous. Wasn't supposed to come out early. It was supposed to come out the same month as Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Okay, so let's do it like this. Venom becomes Venom when, in your mind?
I don't fucking care.
Hold on. Don't cop out now.
I didn't want to have an argument. You did. I don't give a shit about any of this.
Well, that ruins that ruins the fun. You don't want to get into deep baseball.
You're the one having fun, not me.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I think these arguments are technical and stupid. Okay, so Eddie Brock becomes Venom when he gets the costume or the symbiote.
Yeah. So the moment it jumped on him in the church where he was about to commit suicide, he's Venom from that moment on.
I agree.
Okay, from no matter what he looks like, no matter like if he's making the suit look like a pilgrim costume,
it doesn't. We don't see him as Venom until 300.
Yeah, so we're saying like, where's the first time you see Eddie Brock as Venom in the comics? Well, it would be Web of Spider-Man 18. Doesn't matter if it's just his arm; that's him.
I would say that the most important bit for claiming first appearance for something like that would be that he is not, technically speaking, Venom, but not as the Venom character, not with the huge distended jaw, the long tongue, none of that. So if he is in the Venom costume and looks like Venom, regardless of it being Eddie Brock, and he has the symbiote, he has to look like Venom. That would be the first appearance.
Which would be Amazing Spider-Man 299 then. Can you put this image on the screen for people? So if you're at a store or garage sale or swap meet or flea market, whatever, and you see this book, buy it. It goes for at least $100 online, because this is, according to Overstreet Price Guide and most insiders, this is the first appearance of Venom in the press.
Yeah. See, I would consider that like, well, yeah, look at that. That's early art, man. That's art from 300.
Yeah. And it got released early because the magazine came out beforehand, because they were doing this anniversary thing about Spider-Man. So they put the article, it moved it up.
Right.
And it wasn't supposed to come out. This came out in February of 88, whereas 300 came out in May of 88.
That's awesome. So I always thought like first appearance, like in general, like of him in the suit would have been $299. It's not. It's comic scene #2.
#2. Yep. So you can, I've seen this go for as much as $300 and $350, $400
Fuck.
online in mint condition. But if you find a copy for like 50 cents at a garage sale, fucking buy it and sell it for $100 online. You should be able to easily get $100 out of it, because this is widely regarded as the first full appearance of Venom because of this image right here.
Yeah, that sells it for me. I mean, it's early 300 art, but the whole point is in print. Where's the first time there?
And they do talk about him briefly, as I recall. I had this issue. This was actually the first comic book magazine I ever purchased when I was a kid. My dad bought it for me, and I sold it really dirt cheap ages ago.
Ouch.
Not knowing what it was. Yeah.
Look at his spider bulge there. That's great.
Yeah.
Spider bulge.
Well, he's bulging, and that ain't no muscle. That's not his butt. That's, I'm just saying.
So you get an interview with Chris Claremont, John Strander, and Chuck Jones.
That's an odd mix.
It is, isn't it?
But I did notice on the right side there that you just kind of pointed at the Phantom, the Shadow, Flash Gordon, Doc Savage. Okay, I want to read about all those guys. Yeah.
Right? This magazine was great back in the day. It was like, because it's pre-internet, you didn't have all these garbage websites. So you only had a handful of sources, and this was a great issue. But yeah, because I would argue that this is his first full appearance as Venom because of this image.
Wasn't even aware of it before you showed it. That's cool.
I'm full of useless information.
Now I can up nerd somebody. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, but no, I would agree with you that Eddie was Venom in that Web of Spider-Man issue. He just wasn't shown as Venom until Amazing Spider-Man.
He wasn't in costume.
Yeah, yeah. But I agree that he became Venom. That would be his. I mean, so it could go either way. It depends on how much you want to argue about it. But yeah, I'm actually with you on the fact that he was Venom, but we don't actually see Venom for another almost 2 years.
It's supposed to be. I mean, the obvious idea of it is supposed to be scary as hell because it's just somebody who pushed him, and so he thinks he's losing his spider powers, which was a common trope writing thing that is Spider-Man losing his powers? Is the radiation in his blood fading off over time? They use that idea repeatedly, and that was kind of supposed to be the big danger of it. It wasn't supposed to be. He thought the wrong thing. Like when you start reading the next issue, what he took away from that is, oh, after that incident on the train tracks, I was worried, but it seems like my spider sense is working again. I'm getting my tingles. Hint, hint.
Getting my tingles. That's a thought, isn't it?
You want to hear some stupid shit?
Always.
Look at this. Rumor: Disney may be developing a PG-13 Predator series for Disney Plus. Oh god. Just
PG-13 is the laziest cash grab the movie industry ever created. It's rarely worth the PG-13.
Like, I mean, seriously, did you guys earn so much less money when you weren't like? I get the basic reasoning of it, right? Well, we want kids. We want to open a different market that won't have access to it otherwise. Is there really that big of a difference because your movies suck? Like,
yeah.
I don't care how much CGI they jammed into Total Recall, the remake. It blew. It was, I saw it. I don't remember it at all. It left no impression. And not because it wasn't R for the violence, just because it was a CGI for all ages fest.
So,
you know what I mean?
So you didn't have Total Recall about that movie?
Boo. Boo.
I will say this for Total Recall. I think that movie actually could have been good.
It could have been because it was based on a Philip K. Dick story, wasn't it?
Well, no, I'm just saying, if that movie, okay, take all of everything you know about Total Recall, everything, throw it completely out the window, right? Watch that movie from the perspective of this is not a remake or a reboot. Yeah. And it's a fairly good generic sci-fi action movie.
Well, you nailed generic. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just seems very, I don't know.
Lazy?
Milk toast. Yeah. A gumbo of sci-fi cyberpunk tropes.
For being a popcorn flick, that's kind of okay.
Oh, don't get me wrong. For a popcorn flick where I got to watch something on Netflix because, whatever. Like, whatever reason. I got nothing else to watch or, she's into sci-fi and I need an hour before I make my move, whatever, it's fine. Yeah.
I'm not defending that movie. I'm just saying that it's trotted out as the big example where I don't think it's quite as cut and dry as that.
Really? You've heard that brought up as the example? I haven't heard that a lot. Okay.
Oh yeah, the major one that almost everyone brings up is that one in RoboCop, and I don't think either of them are necessarily as cut and dry as just, oh my god, it's just a reboot and a rehash. Who cares? Oh, blah blah. I think the very, very minor tweaks could have made both of those movies. Yeah, they wouldn't go down as like classics, but they wouldn't be so reviled.
Well, okay. Here's the thought that I had on it when I was thinking about Total Recall, like whatever months ago it was. Why didn't they do what they did with Tron Legacy? where you can watch Tron Legacy as a standalone film. You don't need to watch whatever 81, 82 Tron to understand what's going on, because there's enough inside the dialogue. There's enough exposition for you to totally get what's going on. You know what I mean? So it counts as a reboot of sorts, but it's also very much a sequel. Very much a sequel. Why not just do that? Why not continue the story? Because it's not like, what's his name? Not Brubaker. That was one of his fake IDs. Whatever Schwarzenegger's character's name was.
Quaid.
Oh, yeah. Start the machine, Quaid.
The movie was great.
There was a flashback for it. No, you know what would have made that scene better? If they had taken that stomach arm guy, that mute Quado, if they had taken Quado and made him CGI as fuck so everybody didn't believe he was real for a second. That would have been far better than that shitty, slimy practical effect that was creepy as hell and made an actual impression on you. I mean, who wants that, right?
Yeah, it was like basket case in space.
No, Mike Parlett, his name was not Dutch, but it could have been. Possibly should have been.
I'll say Dutch was Predator.
That would have been
thanks,
awesome.
Quiz. Jesus. I now, if we're picking names, does anything beat John Matrix? Really? I think not.
I'd be hard pressed to think of something more generic than that.
More generic and clearly made the fuck up. Yeah, that's
Johnny.
What's up? Sorry,
Johnny Mnemonic.
Well, yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty made up, isn't it? No, I mean for Schwarzenegger, he never had a more made up name than that.
No,
I
probably not. Dr. No asked if we've seen Das Boot. I have seen it, and I was bored out of my fucking mind. It's a well-made, boring movie.
Assassin of the Grey, thank you. Douglas Quaid, Hauser. Now that sounds so familiar now that you've said it. Yeah. And the original had the thing that makes every movie better. Jack, what is it?
Rated R blood?
Well, that too. It had Michael Ironside.
Oh, yeah, Michael Ironside. And, oh, man, that had an all-star cast.
Oh, Ronnie Cox? Are you... God, what a great villain he was. Kicked ass. That's why it was so tragic seeing Ronnie Cox as a singing police chief in Cop Rock.
Everything about Cop Rock was tragic, dude.
When Farr and I were watching it, I kept saying, like, she doesn't know who Ronnie Cox is. Like, he seems familiar, but doesn't really know him from anything. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This guy's cool. He was Captain Edward Jellicoe on TNG. He was the villain in Total Recall. This guy's been around forever and a day, and he's played some great roles. Now he's a singing, dancing police chief.
Yeah, he was the quintessential 80s hard ass.
Yeah.
You know, everybody had as a boss.
He was the perfect guy to come in on Next Generation as the scumbag captain who was like seriously in command, but nobody liked the hard ass. Yeah, he was great for that. So anyway, let's read what they got going on here, where they're getting.
I found something for you there, Polly. Not to get too far off the tangent. I found on what is this? Post-show recaps. The 17 most awful protagonist names in action movie history.
Okay, you wanna hit that link over to me, because we'll go over that for kicks. Does it look like it's fun from what you're seeing?
Oh yeah. Cool. It brings up a couple of them.
Cool.
Really good
ones. We'll do that for sure.
All right. You want to put it in the side chat?
Please. Yeah.
Sure.
So where they're getting this rumor from? Disney's purchase of 20th Century Fox assets brought the Predator franchise into their portfolio, and far from leaving it to gather dust in their vault, they might know what to do with the interstellar game hunter. It doesn't sound like they know what to do.
They don't know what to do with Star Wars.
See, that's the thing, is that they've already tried this once before and it failed miserably. Now, I don't hate the first AVP movie. I acknowledge its faults. Namely, that the violence in it is ridiculously tame, which is, in line with its shitty PG-13 rating.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the quintessential thing that people can point to and sit there and say, this is why you don't do PG-13 fucking Predator movies. And they're doing it again.
That's because they've learned nothing.
No,
I guess.
no. I always try and keep in mind that things are in development for a long time, before they get greenlit. Like, it's like they get development, and then things are in development get greenlit, which means pre-production starts, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a years-long process. So when you're seeing movies that are coming out now, you get a strong sense of where their heads were at 3 years ago. Where it's like, wow, this diversity thing is really taking off with the kids, It's like, back in 2016 was the thinking. We Got This Covered is reporting their sources tell them that the House of Mouse is developing. I hate that name for Disney. Just call it Evil Overlord. Is developing a series around the Predator and its mythology, featuring new characters and a new story. And they're all women, and they're very diverse, even though they're aliens. Back in August, reporter Eric Vespi indicated Disney Plus would feature a PG-13 fare. In his tweet, I asked about R-rated content, if any of Fox's more adult fare will make it to Disney Plus, and he said that Disney Plus will be all PG-13 or softer. I wondered if this would be their weakness that other streaming services could exploit. Yeah, I understand that as a weakness. If you only want to do 3/4, 1/4, like 1/4 adult R content, why not? I don't understand.
I know exactly why they're doing that, because they own a controlling share of Hulu now, because they got a massive amount of that in the Fox acquisition.
Right.
Whereas before they only had 15%. Now they have like 85%.
So you think that how does the Hulu acquisition relate to their
R? They put all their R-rated content over there, and then they can make you buy a subscription to services.
Gotcha. I don't have Hulu. I've never had Hulu. Do they have our stuff on Hulu?
I have no idea.
Sweet space western vibe, but the show's brutally adorable.
Modern TV shows.
Well, they've been producing their own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's still TV shows, though.
Yeah, but if it's directly to the website of Hulu, then is it really a TV show? It's not on TV.
Technically, because it's episodic. But no, if I get all of my news from cartoons, so if this is anything to be believed, Disney is doing this so that they can acquire Dragon Ball Z, because they're going to give nudie pictures of Duff's Muff to Prince Vegeta.
Well, would you be surprised if they bought Dragon Ball Z at this point, just so they could ruin that too? I'm just saying, if they want to do our stuff, they can put it on Hulu, label it as mature content, and then they don't have to worry about their family-friendly bullshit image.
What the fuck is a Duff's Muff?
Hillary Duff's Muff.
Oh, well, now I'm interested.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah, so would I. Wow. Anyway, so over on IGN here. Oh, have I mentioned recently how much I hate forced autoplay videos on websites? Lightly?
Yeah, it's awful.
Fuck. And listen, let's just speak bluntly, gentlemen. Why do they do this? What's the point?
Because they hate us.
Well, they hate us, but like, these are webmasters that are selling ideas to their bosses, so their bosses can pretend that it was their idea, so they look like they're effective. And what's the efficaciousness of the idea? It's like this. Those videos are hosted on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, right? And we're embedding them on our website. So when people click on the link that we've clickbaited them to click on, they do so, right? Which means that it autoplays on our website and also autoplays on our YouTube channel, which we get 2 clicks for the 1 click. If we force it to autoplay, don't give them the option.
That's pretty genius.
Yeah. So when you're watching like IGN or whatever the fuck, like their Vox, when and you get an automatic play video, if you go over to the Vox YouTube channel, all of those views that are counted are largely off source or off-site embedded videos, and they want to double dip on their clicks. Bastards. Anyway.
Scum.
Yeah. So in any case, over on IGN here, hey, look at this article capture. There it is. This is Stella Chung, and she works for IGN. Like, guys, when we say fake geek girl, this is what we mean. IGN hired the Asian girl with the Asian name with the purple hair who talks about how much she's into all things geek. You should look her up on like Twitter. It's like, I'm all things geek and I know all the geek things about geekdom, geek. And it's just, goddamn.
She's scary. Her hair is my method of painting miniatures.
Oh God!
Oh, the
I can't even see it yet.
I was like, wait, what? You do fades? Oh no, that's right. You do lazy man dipping, right? Yeah.
I can't even see it yet. It's not. Oh my God! All right,
right?
It hadn't popped up for me yet.
That's some awesome pause game too. Look at that face she's making.
Yeah.
My pause game is strong and largely unintentional. It happens instinctually.
Yeah, nice work, man. That's
what kills me is that they want to also, if you'll see, double dip on the people aren't paid very much, if anything at all, who write the articles and host stuff, right? They're paid in exposure, So they have one person write the article about another video that a different person is actually hosting it. So they take one story and spread it across two people. Like, these are the activities of people on a shoestring budget. You understand what I'm saying?
IGN is terrible about that. They always have been.
Yeah. So this is about the Giphy explains the missing Baby Yoda gifs. In case you didn't know, have you guys heard about this? The Baby Yoda clampdown from Disney?
Oh
yeah.
More proof that Disney hates fans.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah. Formerly Rodline says, I'd bang her if she paid me. Not even. Like, I mean, that's just a bad pause. She's actually she's cute. Like, they wouldn't have put her on screen if not. And I'm all for girls with funky hair. It's just, unfortunately, it's a strong indicator of,
crazy.
Yes, crazy. It's they took strange hair colors away from girls with a carefree attitude and adopted it as a sign of their shared mental illness. Giphy has sent out the following statement about the missing Baby Yoda gifs. Quote, last week there was some confusion around certain content uploaded to Giphy, and we temporarily removed those gifs while we reviewed the situation. We apologize to both Disney and Vulture for any inconvenience, and we are happy to report that those gifs are once again live on Giphy. Well, we don't know what the confusion around what was around the confusion Baby Yoda. Holy fuck, I'm medicated. The gifs were apparently removed for review, but back they are. Back they are? That's a Yoda reference. Wow, they're like me, nerds.
I said sarcasm.
Hi, fellow kids.
You're not wrong, though. They put it back because people were complaining.
Exactly. That's exactly my opinion.
Why you shitting on us? Because we like something for once from Star Wars? Whoever decided to do that takedown should have been fired, because that was a stupid move.
Well, you got, look at who went after, oh shit, Shards of the Past, the Star Wars fan short.
Yeah.
Right? Goes up, completely original music. A separate division of Disney struck it when he had permission from Lucasfilm, if I'm correct, to go ahead.
Yep.
Or he made them aware and had their permission in the sense of, yeah, go ahead, no problem. You've met our fan production standards. Like, you're not doing anything that we don't like. So yeah, go ahead. So, we're not going to fuck with you type permission. So he does it, puts all this money into it, and gets struck anyway by another wing of Disney for the music. And that speaks loudly to what Disney is. A large, multi-armed octopus monster where one arm doesn't know what the other one's doing. You know what I mean? And I would not be surprised if the social media legal subdivision of Disney were the ones that say, oh, fuck that, Baby Yoda, we own that, and struck the fuck out of everywhere. Where everyone else is like, no, that's free promotion, moron, stop it. When part of one arm figured out what the far end tentacle of the other arm was doing,
Yeah. Assassin of the Grey requested that instead of House of the Mouse, we call it Der Mausreich. Yeah, I do like that one quite a bit, so we might want to file that one away for later.
Der Mausstreik. I like it. So what do you want to do, gentlemen? Do you want to stay on the stairwares and get it over with? Because there's a number of stairwares stories.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's plow through another one or two of these god awful messes of tragedy that are destroying our childhood love of something.
Indeed.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even medicated, and that came out.
Well, that already happened with the Phantom Menace, dude.
Well, yeah. All right, let's do this one because two of them are directly related. So we'll do these two back to back and over on Bounding into Comics because they summarize the whole thing quite well. J.J. Abrams admits Star Wars Rise of Skywalker script was on sale on eBay.
Retard.
Yeah, if you hadn't heard about this was a thing, and if you heard about it the way it was happening, it's like there was a script, an authentic script that was on eBay. People were reporting that are all part of the Fandom Menace or just Star Wars nerds on Twitter or whatever the hell. And the white knights for Disney are like, oh, shut up, you alt-writers. You don't know what you're talking about, until J.J. Abrams says, yeah, that was actually a thing. And it's like, oh, shit. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker director J.J. Abrams admitted the script for the film was on sale on eBay in an interview with Disney-owned Good Morning America. Oh. So he went to the softest audience imaginable. Got it. Abrams confirmed that not only was the script for sale, but that he had completed the film. Oh, let's see if the actual interesting part gets said here. Yes, just yesterday, it's done. It's done. So now people have to see it. That was Monday. Was it not last Monday?
Oh man, people have to see it?
Well, now people have to see it.
Monday?
Was that? Yes, that was this Monday. Yeah, not last, like the Monday that just went by is what I mean.
Like 2 days ago.
Yeah. They finished it, guys. It's in theaters December 20th, and they just finished filming Monday.
But I have to see it?
Yeah, I don't get what he means by that. Just yesterday, it's done. It's done. So now people have to see it. Yeah, I'd like to hear the full statement, like what follows that and what preceded it. Because what do you mean I have to see it?
Yeah.
I just want to know if it's going to be like the Superman mustache fiasco, where, oh, the film's done, but we're just going to half-ass all the special effects now.
Irate Postate says, by the way, dudes, it's Meowschwitz. Then he explained why the film was doing reshoots through October. Oh, let's hear the buyable explanation on the Good Morning America show that you personally are part of the company that owns. Let's because they're not really going to argue with you no matter what answer you give, right? This happened last time as well. You see something, you think, oh, what could be a little bit clearer? That could be a little bit better. If you have the ability to fix it in a piece, then you take advantage of that. You mean you realize your show's an incoherent mess, so you come up with some way at 4:00 in the morning when you're sitting around the table with your writers and don't want to be responsible for the greatest disaster in science fiction history.
Wouldn't that be Solo, though?
Well, maybe.
Well, I think they're trying to be number one in something.
Yeah. After showing a brief clip of stormtroopers flying through the air on jetpacks, which led to no amount of laughter online, Abrams then detailed how a script ended up for sale on eBay. Quote, "The actors knew. The security is insane. They were already nervous about anything getting out. They only had a handful of scripts, and they were printed on crazy, uncopyable paper. And then one of our actors, I'm not going to say which one, but I won't, left it under their bed, and it was found by someone who was cleaning their place."
Yeah, accidentally found there.
Right?
Whatever.
And X's across the internet were broken after that quote came out. It's like, who believes that? Like, actors, I know which one, but I'm not going to say which one. Like, who are you getting ready to throw under the bus? One of the actors like John Boyega that said he really didn't like what happened to his character, or maybe Mark Hamill, who also said he really didn't like what happened to his character. Like, just a lot of unhappy people that are saying a lot of unhappy things. Which guy are you most angry at that you're going to pin it on?
Who wants to take bets that it was Mark Hamill?
If I had to take a bet, like, I don't know, like, I'd put up to $25 on it that it was Hamill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what does Hamill care?
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Him and Boyega seem very disenfranchised by the whole thing anyway, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Boyega seemed fairly intent on defending Kelly Marie Tran when that whole controversy came out. I mean, he didn't stick by it for very long, but
Yeah,
he was
but
intent on
but
calling.
that doesn't mean he's not angry at Disney because he was protective of Kelly Marie Tran.
Well, he was fully intent on calling all of the people that didn't like Rose Tico racist, sexist, homophobes, bigots.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, come on. That instantly paints people that disagree with you as unfavorable things, right? Why wouldn't you do that?
Mm.
Okay, let's see. Abrams continued. It was given to someone else who then went to sell it on eBay. He then notes somebody at, quote, the company discovered the script for sale on eBay and they were able to get it back. Someone at the company said, there is a script that looks like it's a legitimate script for sale on eBay, and they got it back before it was sold. With all of the security, you've got to be careful. With all of the security, you've got to be... Doesn't the security make things careful? I don't understand. That sounds like a threat to whoever did it.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it... With all the security, your security clearly wasn't worth anything because actors were leaving shit under beds. Why are you giving actors the full script anyway? Like, I understand in ideal circumstances, they would have the whole script, but plenty of movies, they only give them their parts. That, like, the scenes that they're involved in are the only parts they get, so nobody has the whole script except for directors and producers. Anyway.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do that. But hey, they may be dumb enough to actually hand out the entire script. But unfortunately, we don't know which version of the movie this one was.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that in chat. It was like 14 different endings. Yeah.
So is this going to be an instant classic like Blade Runner that we're going to have 1,000,000,007 versions?
Hold that thought, because we're going to go talk about this now. But the idea of multiple versions of something, I just wanted to talk about here in a second. Another J.J. Abrams story. I said we're going to do back to back. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker director J.J. Abrams acknowledges the Fandom Menace. Did you read this?
No.
Actually says it by name. Oh, wow. You got to stop reading the negative people that are out there, Abrams. Like, I guess people are being honest when they say if you're in Hollywood and you're a celebrity, if they tell you that they don't Google themselves regularly, they're a fucking liar, because they all do. And I'm like, well, I'm not a celebrity and I don't know any, so I just, yeah, right, that's true. I don't know, like, Abrams, what are you paying attention to your detractors for? You should spend more time not writing shitty movies.
Mm.
Yeah, he might become a better writer if he stopped being such a douche.
Like, who cares what people say on Twitter? It's fucking Twitter.
Yeah, it's not real life.
If he deletes his Twitter, does that get rid of all of his lens flares?
Well, that would be a positive outcome of listening to criticism. Ramen Noodles asks, what is the Fandom Menace? Obviously, it's a play off of words from the Phantom Menace. Van Sciver and others have just used that word. We're the fans. We're part of the fandom. And we're a menace because when we hate something, we really hate it. Like, when we recognize you're fucking with classic lore for either political purposes or catering to a Chinese market, or, just writing shitty stuff by putting morons like Rian Johnson in charge when they don't really have the background to show that they could write something that's of that level, write and direct it, handing the whole thing over to them simply because Kathleen Kennedy finds the guy takes orders well. I mean, these are not good reasons to put somebody like Roundhead Johnson in charge of something. And so, Fandom Menace are people that complain, largely grouped around Ethan Van Sciver, etc. So it's kind of weird to hear J.J. Abrams referencing this supposed group of alt-right Nazis who hate everything that's diverse, when that's really not what it is at all. Anyway, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker director J.J. Abrams acknowledged the Fandom Menace in a new interview. Speaking with Esquire, Abrams recognized the Fandom Menace while touching on a variety of topics concerning the upcoming Star Wars films. Esquire's Matt Miller asked Abrams a loaded question. Over the last couple of years, since The Last Jedi came out, I've been writing a lot about the response to that film and some of the toxic fandom around Star Wars in this new era. There are some fans who take issue with the filmmaking, other fans who take issue with some of the more progressive themes. I'm curious, how do you watch the response to the Star Wars films change in this modern era compared to maybe prequel series or how the fans originally responded to them? Abrams,
I like the End Wars series. That's better than the Start Wars series.
yes. I don't know if that's a typo on the part of Bounding into Comics or it's a direct quote literally from the original Esquire. Who knows? I'm not going to go read Esquire, though. It's a trash magazine.
Yeah.
Abrams responded, I think that the bigger question is, how has everything changed? That's literally what he just asked you. The reaction to Star Wars, the increased attacks, the increased negativity, the fandom menace, as they call it. That is not unique to Star Wars, obviously. Okay, so you didn't even answer the question. You just said
not going.
Things and things and things and things and things. And we're not the only ones The only ones what? That are dealing with thing. Okay. Abrams added, and I think we live in a time where if you're not being divisive, if you're not creating something that's that's aversive quick bait, sometimes you don't feel like you're playing the game.
The fuck is aversive quick bait?
I think he means clickbait.
Did he have a stroke?
No,
is
that was
Hammer. Is he in the bed next to Hammer? What the fuck? The fuck does that even mean?
J.J. Abrams doesn't seem particularly bright. Let's be honest. The guy's kind of a douchebag, and he's not a terribly good director. And he hates fans.
Apparently.
Well, I don't know. If that's true, what he's saying is true. How do you explain The Mandalorian?
Jon Favreau.
Well, is that how you think Abrams would explain it? Well, they didn't have me or Rian Johnson as director. That's why it's good. You think he would explain it that way?
I don't think he thinks it's good because I honestly think that he is towing the line and doubling down on the progressive bullshit that's in these movies.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that there's something else at play here with J.J. Abrams, at the very least, probably Rian Johnson as well. They have to double down because if they don't support their movie, if they acknowledge their mishandling and how bad the movie is, if they acknowledge any of the criticism, then you know what else goes away in addition to their no longer animosity towards their lack of credibility. The Disney paycheck also goes away.
Yeah.
So they have to double down. And I get it. You don't want to lose your job. I don't want to lose my job, but there's some things that do matter to some people, and integrity is one of them.
Well, really quick, formerly Rodline mentions Geeks and Gamers in association with the Fandom Menace. And yeah, you're not wrong. Like, if there's a given epicenter of it, yeah, sure, I'd accept that it's them. Not trying to say it's like Ethan Van Sciver's brand or anything like that. Just he's the guy that comes to mind for me with that. But then again, he's got a strong association and is a big fan of Geeks and Gamers. Picked it up from them. I don't know its origins. I was just trying to vaguely describe what it is. But you're not wrong. There's a hell of a lot of stuff related to that going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jake Thompson brings up a good point. Don't forget non-disparagement clauses, and don't forget general pride. It's like it's his baby, writer, director. Does he want it to fail? No. So in other words, they've got all the fucking reasons in the world to spin all negativity into something positive and describe all detractors as something negative. You know what I mean? Like this guy's got financial, personal, and contractual reasons to be as positive as fuck. You know what I mean? And that's why he's so vague. Like, that's what I'm saying, like, you know, and thing and right. And I think the larger question is a rewording of what you precisely just asked me. You know, fuck off. We've got an exclusive interview with J.J. Abrams. What's he going to say? What do you care? It's like an interview with Kathleen Kennedy. You ever read them? There's like maybe 2 sentences worth of information in them. The rest of them are just corporate. Blah, 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 blah. Well, we're really excited and we're all dedicated. We take this seriously and everyone's really good at their jobs. And, oh, shut up. What are you saying?
No one can do anything wrong. They didn't do nothing.
It's true. They didn't.
Anyway, that's enough of that crap.
Yeah.
But you did...
They're awful.
So we were talking about cuts, right? Of things.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some actual information. It's a rumor, but I caught my attention. Article capture. There it is. Again, over on Bounding. Bounding's a great site. They just need a little bit more careful editing, but that's fine. That's fixable.
Yes. And say we can always trust that Trent will fuck up somewhere along the way.
No, God damn it. John Trent wrote this article. Quiz, you bastard. Quit calling him out. He's trying.
He is.
I feel bad criticizing, but we got to be consistent. If we're going to make fun of other people's editing, we got to make fun of theirs too. It's all just the way that it is. Rumor, Snyder Cut of Justice League to be available on HBO Max. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
That's like a completely different fucking movie with the amount of, as we've talked about many times before, you can tell the difference between new and old material. There's so much new material in it. I'd love to see a Snyder Cut. It's going to be like on the same vibe as Batman v Superman, meaning like dark and corny, cheesy dark. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that might be fun.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Mostly, it's Cavill, Superman, Ben Affleck, Batman, and you know, hey, anything with Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I'm down for. You know, I mean, come on, she's hot as fuck, and I love her as Wonder Woman.
The dude that played the Flash was really annoying, though.
He was really annoying. And you didn't get to see much of the guy who played Cyborg, which was kind of sad. Not sad, I just don't know. I don't really have an opinion. I was okay with it, no complaints, but there isn't really much to go off of, honestly. So some fresh material from him as Cyborg I'm down for. There may, as much as Jason Momoa may have questionable IRL activities in the movie, I like him as Aquaman. I mean, they managed to make Aquaman cool. That's not easy.
Yeah,
they've done a great job of it in the comics, animated series, as well as the movie. So good on you. Yeah.
Well, Phil Lamar did an amazing job with it in Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Yeah,
and that's a video game.
It's really well done. Like, to take a character that was like a universal laughing stock and to make him into somebody who's like hardcore and to be feared, and you definitely want that guy as an ally because he's so powerful. That's a hell of a turnaround for a reviled, laughable character, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. A new rumor suggests the Jack Snyder cut of Justice League will be available on HBO Max. The rumor comes from Mike Sutton in his Geekosity Facebook group. I want to believe you because I want to believe the rumor, but that sounds like, okay. Sutton states, despite continuous denials from Warner Brothers, there are plans to release the Snyder Cut of Justice League on HBO Max. He adds, however, there are issues preventing them from announcing when you expect it. Mainly, the Snyder Cut is unfinished. There is incomplete FX work, which is totally believable. Why finish FX work on a cut you're not going to release? Snyder has gone from the Justice League before specific scenes could be, and now never will be, shot. What's left needs to be presented to the general public. It doesn't need to be, but should be. Are you going to be able to recut it in such a way that it'll make a coherent story? I hear you. I mean, if there's all sorts of missing shot scenes, that's going to be tough. But
no, I have a plan for that. You go around to conventions around the country, and you give fans the opportunity to reenact the scene for the actors. So you have a bunch of fat guys running around doing the scene for the actors, and then just glue that in as a missing scene.
Nice. That's what I want to
that.
see. I want to see paper cutout stop motion animation. You know the kind I'm talking about? Like original South Park, like true paper cutout stop motion.
I'd be down for that too.
Just cut like literal comic book cutouts. Don't even draw them with crayons. Just cut the characters out of comic books and do stop motion animation with them for the missing scenes. I'd watch it. It'd be funny.
They're like taped to popsicle stickers.
Yeah.
Puppets.
This information is similar to what Kevin Smith has revealed about the Snyder Cut. Smith confirmed back in August that the Snyder Cut existed, but it was not completed. Quote, now, it's not a finished movie by any stretch of the imagination. There were things that went away from the story that they shot that didn't wind up going into visual effects or anything like that. So I'd assume, based on what I've been told, that large sections of the Snyder Cut are, pre-viz with a lot of green screen. We're not talking a finished movie. Oh, well, the scenes themselves are shot, but not green screened. Like, oh, come on, man. Crowdfund the money you need. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they can always do it documentary style, like the Death of Superman movie documentary they did, the one that had Nick Cage in it.
Frosted glass. The Snyder Cut will be finished before the Rise of Skywalker.
Probably make more sense too.
Right. He also indicated that the cut was not something meant for mass consumption. Quote, it was a movie that people in production could watch and fill in the blanks. It was certainly not meant for mass consumption. I see what you're saying. The cut that was put together was only to make it clear to writers and workers what needed to be filled in. Nevertheless, Sutton reports that Warner Brothers does plan to release the cut on HBO Max and will spend some dough to finish it. Warner Brothers will not confirm anything prematurely. When it's ready, so will be all the marketing, as this will all help push HBO Max to potential subscribers in terms of social media buzz. He even predicts that the Snyder Cut of Justice League could be available on launch day for HBO Max. Sutton concludes by indicating that the finish of the Snyder Cut will cost Warner Brothers around $10 million. Oh, so in other words, the average expense account for 2 or 3 executives of theirs.
Right, that's like petty cash to them.
Yeah.
Doctor Who did this a while ago because they had some missing episodes, and one's lost to time, and a few that were like never finished because of a writer's strike. There was an episode called Shadow that had been partly filmed, and they were using footage from other episodes that hadn't been used to do part of that episode too. But what they did was they had one of the actors narrate a still shot what was supposed to happen next.
Right.
That bridge between the two scenes.
They
even did one where they inserted animated cells in for the missing sequences on one of the old black and white ones. So they could do something like that where they just get some cheap animation and glue it in.
Yeah. Midnight in Exile says Cyborg reviled. He had never heard this. No, I was referencing Aquaman when I was saying reviled.
I like Aquaman. You guys are all haters.
No, it's just, man, we're talking about from Super Friends Aquaman, right? That's where that mass opinion came from, I think.
He did all the talking to the fish.
Yeah.
It's an important job.
Well, I mean, but that's all he was doing in Super Friends, right? And that seemed to form this mass idea that that was actually the whole of the character. And then a bunch of comics writers, etc., did a really good job of kind of turning him around and making him a badass. What's his name? Chris from Comics Tropes has a great video on the evolution of Aquaman from his original creation until current day badass. And it's interesting. You get to see some of the like I've said, good writers can write you out of almost anything.
Yep.
And you just got to find the right person and pay him what's right.
Which is why Rise of Skywalker is going to tank.
Mm.
It'll be a success financially, but it'll be a terrible movie.
So speaking of failing upwards,
were you going to talk about Zoe Quinn?
No. Well, she is a great example of failing upwards, but let's talk about Charlie Angel's director, Elizabeth Banks, is tapped to direct and star in The Invisible Woman for Universal. So let me see if I get this straight. I just want to be sure about the basic facts of what's going on here. Elizabeth Banks directed in and also was in the Charlie's Angels film. It's bombed terribly on a $52 million budget, pulled in just over $8 million on opening weekend. It's a disaster. And it was promoted as a Whammons film for the Whammons. She said repeatedly in different interviews, this isn't
By
made for
Whammons.
Yeah, it's by Whammons. Isn't meant for men. And then afterwards says it was sexism that caused it to not do well. You mean yours? Sounds like it was yours. I mean, tell men not to go watch it, and then they don't, and then you're like, you're sexist for not watching it. I mean, come on, Elizabeth Banks. What the fuck you doing? Fuck you doing? And so anyway, she fails miserably. So the Universal does what? Well, they tap her to direct and star in The Invisible Whammon. What?
Now, we're not talking Sue Storm, are we?
No.
Thank God,
We're
no.
talking like, like The Invisible Man, like
Victorian era.
yeah, like Kevin Bacon was in The Invisible Man kind of thing. Wasn't he?
He was Hollow Man, yeah.
Hollow
This
Man.
is the same movie, just different name.
Yeah, that kind of idea, right? But it's Invisible Whammon because no one. I mean, even if you can't see the person, they're aware it's a straight white cis male. So, nobody wants that.
Well, see,
How is she going to be able to speak to someone's manager if no one can see her?
well, no, see, the invisibility is to help her avoid crime because she could get away with things. It's her white privilege. That's how they're going to spin it.
She can get away with crime because she's a woman.
Yeah, and because she's white. So, see, it's her white privilege. I think this is a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely awful. I mean, look at the self-promoting bullshit tweets that this self-promoter sends out. An accurate representation of me before turkey dinner, after turkey dinner. Okay, modeling shot with professional photographers and lighting, and another shot of it. And it's like, so you figured out a Thanksgiving angle for your modeling pictures? How many ways can I tell this woman to go to hell? I mean, remember the modeling shots of Brie Larson and the one that she used to claim this was taken for her thinking about Stan Lee's death? Remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about Stan Lee. What a legend. It's clearly
You don't
a
even
model.
know who the fuck Stan Lee is.
Yeah, it was clearly a modeling shot of her displaying her designer handbag with her name on it, displaying her designer shoes, sitting there with a cocktail, the sun setting behind her. It was clearly a staged professional modeling shot. You mean she wanted people to believe that was a fucking a selfie taken while she was thinking deeply in thought about the legend of Stan Lee. She took it down because everyone mocked the shit out of her. I'm glad people saved a copy. I've got a copy of it somewhere on my hard drive. It just tells you a lot about who the kind of self-promoting Hollywood stereotype that Brie Larson is and that Elizabeth Banks is in. I not only have to be in the movie, like, the star of the film and look beautiful and gorgeous, I need to direct it and produce it while writing the script. That was her for Charlie's Angels. She was co-producer, co-writer, director, and was in the film. Fucking hell.
Wait, if she's a producer, then yeah, no, keep doing it. I want to see her put all of her money into it and have it absolutely tank.
Now, is this going to take place in the Victorian era?
That's
or
a
the
good
modern
question.
times?
Let's actually read on. It's according to the report from Variety's Justin Kroll, Banks will star and direct in the film, quote, based on her original pitch.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm the one who just made that movie that I co-produced, co-wrote, co-starred in, and directed. Yeah. Okay, I've got an idea for a movie, even though my last one flopped. Let me star in and direct in The Invisible Whammon. Like, what the fuck? This sounds like a... Okay, so you got a passion project. Is that a common trope, the ego project? Where, like, this is on Will Smith After Earth level.
Yeah. Well, look how bad that tanked, too.
Yeah,
Whenever you have somebody doing more than 2 jobs, it's going to be awful.
but that's not always true. Like, there's writer-directors, like, throughout the 70s. Robert Altman did a whole bunch of great films. Francis Ford Coppola did a whole bunch of great films that he wrote and directed. It's not necessarily true.
You're naming like 3 people out of the thousands that have done this.
Maybe, yeah.
Those are the exceptions. look at any like low budget horror film that you thought was just completely stupid. It made no sense, and I guarantee you, there's gonna be some guy with 3 jobs on there.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam Raimi. You know?
Sam Raimi's another exception, I think.
I mean,
though.
see,
I
okay.
seriously think you could put all these people on like one hand.
Well, Jack brings
and
up a
count
good
them.
point, and I don't have an answer to it. Is it the people that I think of that have pulled it off effectively? Are they exceptions, or is it far more common that it ends up being a failure? I don't know.
There were visionaries like Orson Welles that could do that, but I am really gun shy about seeing something that somebody had 3 jobs in.
Well,
Because you could do them all mediocre.
Well, okay, to think of a more modern example, because I'm naming like legends from the 70s, Coppola and Altman, right?
Yeah.
How about like a more modern one? Ben Affleck. He starred in, co-wrote, co-produced, and directed both Argo and The Town. And they were both huge films, successfully, critically. Argo won the Academy Award. I mean, that could be just another exception, though. I mean, you've made that point. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bad movies over the years that had like The Room.
Yeah, right. Well, wow.
Hey, that movie is brilliant and a masterpiece. All right,
It's a masterpiece for all the wrong reasons, though. I enjoyed it. I was very entertained, but it's not a good movie.
you're
So,
tearing me
Get
apart,
this.
Jack.
Banks will team up with The Girl on the Train scriptwriter Erin Crescenda Wilson. She will also produce alongside Max Handelman. So she's co-producing this as well. Brilliant. That's just... So far, plot details are unknown, but Crow reports from his sources that Banks' pitch is different from the Invisible Man film coming out in February that stars Elizabeth Moss, and there is no crossover potential on either film. This could mean the film might pull from its comedic origins. The Invisible Woman was originally a 1940 film released by Universal that starred Virginia Bruce, John Barrymore, John Howard, Charlie Ruddles, and Oscar Amolka. I only know Virginia Bruce and John Barrymore from that list, but okay. It was the third Invisible Man following The Invisible Man and The Invisible Man Returns. So Universal has ownership of this, and she went over there and pitched this idea for a IP they already own, so they don't have to license anything. I want to co-produce, direct, and star in this film after I just failed doing the exact same thing I just mentioned to you.
You know what would be funny is if they said, okay, you have an $8.1 million budget.
Ouch. Jack, that's cold, man.
I know.
I could be okay with that.
Oh, get this. The original film, I haven't seen the original film, Jack. Have you? The Invisible Woman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It's Universal. I've seen all of them.
The film centered on a fire department store model. Oh, wow. Elizabeth Banks wants to play a model. Huh. Being the first test subject for an invisibility machine, she uses her newfound ability to get back at her mean boss, a man. And
Maybe 10 years ago, she could have been a model.
And has to defend the experimental machine from the gangster Blackie Cole, bet you that name's going to change, and his gang who want to steal the device. Jesus.
Well, I don't know. We don't know if they're going with the original Invisible Man story and they're just going to gender swap it. Because if they do, who's going to believe a woman could be a scientist?
Wow. I didn't know. Is this true? That this announcement comes 2 years after Universal scrapped the idea of an interconnected dark universe. It was the supposed launch of 2017 with The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise. That film grossed only $80 million domestically, with a 409 million worldwide. Okay, I read that wrong. It had an estimated $200 million production budget. I thought it was only had a $409 million budget and grossed only 80 million. I'm like, why didn't that tank Universal as a company? All right. The announcement of The Invisible Woman follows the news of Paul Feig's Dark Army. Paul Feig actually got hired to do something again after Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh yeah, he's got a couple movies lined up, as I recall.
Okay. So Paul Feig, as we covered talked about last week, was the first person to come to Elizabeth Banks's defense when her movie tanked. And everyone's thinking, oh, it's because of Ghostbusters. No, it's because he's also greenlit from the same backers as she's greenlit for. And they both made whammon films that disastrously failed. Of course he came to her defense. See the backing of it now?
Yeah.
It wasn't that she had made a similar film that happened to tank. It's because he's greenlit by the same company. And we're just hearing now that that was the case. Paul Feig's like, holy shit, her movie did bad. I better get out there and call out the alt-right Nazis that are responsible for everything that I don't like in the world, you know?
See, I think he got confused because he was thinking that they said Nazis like the World War II people and not Nazis, which were everybody, because nobody went to see that fucking turd of a film.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be kind of funny when everyone starts calling this the invisible audience because no one's going to go see this movie.
Yeah.
Guys.
A waste of money.
Yeah.
It's sad, too, because Universal used to make really fun monster films back in the day. Now they just produce garbage that's some sort of weird pet project for celebrities.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, did you guys read that CBR article about the Invisible Man, the one coming out?
No.
No? I picked the Bounding article rather than the original CBR article because, you know, fuck Chilltastic CBR, am I right?
Before you get into that, thank you on the Streamlabs Evolved Potato. I got out of work an hour late and I'm pissed, but you guys really make my afternoon better. Hey, man, glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Hope your day gets better.
These stories aren't making our night any better, but I'm glad our reading of them is making your day better. That's that's positive alchemy right there.
Yeah, cynical Lindsay said, as a woman, Ghostbusters 2016 triggers me.
Oh, Jesus. So, CBR writer Ronaldo Matadine claims the new Invisible Man film is more toxic and dangerous than Todd Phillips' Joker. Ugh.
Oh, I read this one.
Yeah. Wow. Because that claim didn't undermine you enough when it was originally made. In his article titled "The Invisible Man is already more toxic than Todd Phillips' Joker," whatever guy makes his argument based solely on the first film's trailer. Well,
yep.
Most people who claimed that about the Joker hadn't even seen the trailer, much less the film. So, you know.
Yo, he ain't wrong, though.
To give you some background, The Invisible Man is an adaptation of the classic H.G. Wells novel. In the novel, a man named Griffin invents a way to become invisible and concocts a plan to reign terror in England using his newfound ability. His plan is foiled by Dr. Kemp and Griffin and is savagely beaten to death by a number of villagers who corner him. Spoilers. In the upcoming film, the trailer reveals that Cecilia Cass, played by Elizabeth Moss, flees from a secluded mansion, seemingly in fear of her life. There is even a shot of her partner, Adrian, punching in a car window as she attempts to track her down. While this scene is being played out, the lawyer reveals that Adrian committed suicide by cutting his wrists, according to his will. Cass will receive $5 million if she is not ruled mentally incompetent. So Maxine takes issue with what the trailer shows us of the plot, describing it as misogynistic. This is a movie about controlling a woman and gaslighting her to the point where she thinks she's insane. It's very tone deaf, given the male-dominated, at times chauvinistic society we live in, where some men do seem to think they have ownership over women's bodies. We see it in brands, the corporate and business world, and in the entertainment industry, which is known to objectify women's bodies. So why should a man like Adrian own Cecilia's mind? It's another distasteful plot of a man wanting to have power over an innocent woman.
Yeah, that's why he's the bad guy.
Why don't, again, how many sites years ago would have been relegated to some weird corner of the internet blogosphere? This should be the rantings on, angryfeministblog.com.
I want to say Blogspot.
Yeah.
All of these should be on Blogspot.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a blog. No, I'm not claiming. Well, doesn't that person have a right to free speech? And yeah, listen to me exercise mine. You're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You should be on some small blog. Just at some point, I missed a memo that the weirdo conspiracy theory writing bloggernalysts suddenly got a touch of the mainstream because, again, I always blame the editors and presidents that hire these people. You can always find some nut bar to write something. If I owned it, IGN, I could find someone to write on lizard people coming from the hollow earth. It wouldn't be very hard.
That's real. Thank you.
Well, like I said, if I wanted to bring truth to light, I could find someone to write about that truth. You could find someone to write pro-Trump, anti-Trump material. There's always some asshole to write what you want them to write. The question is, who's hiring them? They decided to hire jackasses like this. It should only be on YouTube channels that have less subscribers than us. Yes, that bad.
Yeah, because we're pretty fucking awesome.
Well,
so
yeah, we're undersubbed, not awful. It's different.
Yeah, we have the humility that these people seem to lack.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You know, isn't that the thing right there? I don't think, nor do I want to be an influencer. I don't think I am, nor want to be an influencer.
No, I don't want to influence anyone. I would rather entertain.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about and have fun with. Like, I've seen lots of movies that I didn't really like. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go see them. It's all subjective. But like when there's a continual push in one direction, when you have J.J. Abrams saying, or it's progressive themes, whoa. I thought all of you had claimed from day one that you weren't putting politics into these movies, that it's only bigot, racist, sexist Nazis who were seeing politics in them. What do you mean it's progressive themes? Did you just retroactively admit that all the Star Wars films have progressive themes in them? Why, yes, you did. So, I mean, that kind of justifies a reaction from people who don't like politics in their fiction, huh?
Well, see, superheroes get butts in seats, and it allows you to sneak in the social justice message.
Force is female. Yeah, I don't know. This sounds like a bunch of blathering about a movie that isn't out yet, so they don't actually know what it's about. And the Invisible Man was the bad guy of the story.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was a monster, and people beat him to death, and he turned out to be an albino. So they beat a white man to death in the street.
An extremely white man.
Yeah, you would think, like, the whitest possible man, and you would think that they would celebrate that sequence.
It's just, I don't know. It's CBR. Do you expect them to, I mean, that saying that I like to use is, if you don't know the author, you don't know what you read. If you don't know the speaker, you don't know what they said. Yeah, just go check out any one of these guys' Twitters. Mm-hmm. Go see what they're saying on Twitter. And it's like, Trump! Like, you're using your position as an unpaid writer or lowly paid writer for one of these bloggernalyst sites to broadcast your worldview using pop culture, items of pop culture as the way to do that. Like, I'm a fan of all things geek. If you're a fan of all things geek and you were a super progressive 10 years ago, what was your life like? It must have been awful because people have only been talking about this stuff for the past 4 or 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been down to support the trans people, but you've only been writing articles about it for the past few years. You must have been living in a personal hell not being able to broadcast your defense of trans people before now. Or you're just kind of running with the trend. Seems a little bit more believable to me. And Matta Winter, thank you. I appreciate you wishing me a happy birthday. I'm not sure why you're doing so, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. Let's see.
I was gonna say, I didn't think it was your birthday. Your birthday was earlier.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago. We did a noir bar where everyone came by.
Yeah.
But like I said, doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. Let's
Or is it a birthday because this is stream anniversary?
Is it?
I don't know, it could be.
What do you mean by that, Matta? We're confused.
Yeah.
If it's a streaming anniversary I missed, by all means, let me know. Hey guys, it's our anniversary episode 71. I'm not sure what that means, but we're here. Oh, fuck. I only remember right now. If you haven't already, by all means, hit that like button and feel free to share. And all of our links are down below if you're so inclined. Let's see. What do we want to cover next, gentlemen? Do we want to cover something about Brie Larson? Something about Diamond Publishers? Another rumor about what's going on with In Secret with Warner Brothers shooting of Batman? Yeah, they're your options. What do you like?
As I say, I could bring up the one thing that I linked in our chat
yeah,
there.
Let's do that right now. Good call.
It was on the heels of Jack bringing up this this bit about the Invisible Man being worse than the Joker. Things that have killed more people than the Joker movie: Zoe Quinn.
Nice.
And Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Nice.
Things that have caused more violence than the Joker movie: Frozen 2.
How did Frozen 2 kill somebody?
Didn't kill anyone, but there was a machete brawl at a theater.
That is, wow. That sounds so awful. Like, what a mental image of people brawling with machetes. Oh my God.
One of them was a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, and I still say that the cops had to have gone up to her and been like, "Let it go, let it
Jack,
go." Or we'll
Jack,
shoot."
Jesus
holding
fucking Christ,
holding
man.
the tasers and singing "Let It Go."
Oh yeah, that's funny shit to me. It was in the UK though, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That was happening in the UK?
Yeah.
But they got rid of their guns. That should have been an end to violence.
They didn't get rid of their machetes though.
Oh. But I was promised that wouldn't happen.
Well, they didn't bin. It was bin that knife, Polly, not bin that machete.
Right.
These
They forgot
were
to
actual
mention the
Asian-
machetes.
They were actual Asians, not the Middle Eastern type of Asians.
Okay, I'm not liking what I'm seeing right off the bat here, Quiz. In the 17 most awful protagonist names in action movie history.
Yeah.
I'm not liking what I'm seeing right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Castor and Pollux Troy were fine names.
What?
I haven't read that, but they're showing a picture from Face Off. This is the cover of Face Off with Travolta and Cage. Yeah, and I know what they're going to say. The brothers, the terrorist brothers, were named Castor and Pollux Troy. Those names are fine.
Castor Troy is one of them.
Don't you get it? Castor and Pollux, the twin brothers from Roman lore, and they named their last name is Troy, also from the classical world. Don't you get it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just not funny. It's kind of sad. Just like that movie.
Hey, that movie's a fine movie.
I like that movie.
Terrible.
The
movie is silly, but it's like the good kind of silly.
Hold on. Does it start in... Okay, I'm not going to scroll through because it starts with number 1.
Yeah.
So it's not really a countdown, or it's just a list in general?
It's just a list.
Okay,
yeah.
That's fine then.
An unambiguous list.
Cool. All right, and see, like here it is. Like it's the 17 most awful protagonist names, and there it is. Like there's Cage and Travolta, the man who once played a dancing rapist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a good movie.
They became friends at the end.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. Which I don't want to get into that. It's the first time I've ever invited a rapist into my apartment, she says. Minutes later, they're friends and hugging. What?
It's fine, Polly. It's fine. It's the 70s. Everyone was a rapist. Ask Bill Cosby.
They're all hot dudes.
First item on the list is Lincoln Hawk, which is Stallone's character's name from Over the Top. Now, I've seen Over the Top, but I don't remember his name was Lincoln Hawk.
Over the Top.
That movie's awful too.
Number 2 is Marion Cobra Cobretti, which is also Stallone from Cobra. Yeah, that's Cobretti, thus he's Cobra. Yeah.
Cobretti.
Yeah. And I remember that. It became a thing in the movie that everyone called him Cobra or Cobretti. And he kind of reveals to the woman that his name's Marion, and he's sort of embarrassed by it.
Shigorath Frozen 2 gets lukewarm reception. Global warming suspected. Good one, dude. Oh, it was good.
Okay, number 3 is John Matrix in Commando. That's a fine name.
John Matrix.
It couldn't possibly sound more made up, but whatever.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Alex and Chad Wagner in Double Impact. What? Why?
That's just generic sounding.
Yeah. Is it because they named the obvious Frenchman or Belgian man Alex and Chad? Wagner.
Wagner.
Yeah, I guess that's just because of the ethnic disconnect. Number 5, Cameron Poe in Con Air. Why? I don't like Con Air as a movie. I know a lot of people do. I'm not saying anything bad about it. Just why is that a problem?
It's more his hair. The mullet didn't work on Nick Cage. Although he is excellent at playing white trash.
Well, the problem was that he wasn't allowed to go absolutely insane in that movie, so he had to bottle it up and unleash it on another movie.
I mean, they even say like Cameron Poe's a pretty flashy name, but not the flashiest in the movie. Then why did you pick that one then? They say Cyrus the Virus is a flashier name. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, number 6, John the Eraser Kruger in Eraser. What's wrong?
John Kruger.
What's wrong with John Kruger?
Is he Freddy's brother?
Oh. I mean, it's perfectly believable they have firearms that shoot projectiles at the speed of light. It's fine. Which are clearly remodeled 50 BMG rifles.
He bought an alligator in that movie.
He did?
Yeah, there was an alligator in Eraser.
He bought it?
No, fought.
Oh, fought. I was like, he bought a pet alligator?
No, that'd have been awesome.
The only thing I really remember about that movie was incredibly hot Vanessa Williams.
Yeah. Oh, she was smoking back in the day.
Oh man, she's one of those. Her and Stacey Dash and women like this. They form some sort of infernal pact to stay good looking over years and years and years. It's wild. Yeah, she's still good looking to the day, and I think she's in her 60s now. It's weird.
Yeah, look at Jane Seymour.
Oh yeah, good call. Jane Seymour's another one. Some of these people, man, it's just wild. Number 7 is John Spartan in Demolition Man.
That movie was awesome.
What was
the movie was dumb.
It was, but that's what makes it awesome.
What was Wesley Snipes' character's name? It was equally stupid, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was just as dumb.
It should say it here. Oh yeah, Simon Phoenix. Yeah, Spartan versus Phoenix. Are you guys fucking serious? I guess the answer is no, they're not. Did you take that movie seriously? What's wrong with you?
Where the big revolutionary leader is fucking Dennis Leary. Oh yeah, I believe that movie's going down in history, man.
Yes. Or, I mean, come on. The seashells, all restaurants have become Taco Bell. I mean, that movie's meant for fun.
Taco Bell won the food wars.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's an SJW future movie. That's all.
That's a good point, where everybody gets financial fines from the government, police enforceable, for saying things that hurt feelings. Absolutely.
Yeah. Then they'd have to dust off this crusty old guy from a bygone era to stop a psychopath because they're not equipped to handle dealing with murder.
But they're saying like anything that is unhealthy for you is automatically against the law. Well, how are the fatty cat ladies gonna get their fatty makers if it's an SJW future?
Body positivity, Polly.
That's where the future as a utopia in this film fell short. They didn't. Everyone should have been fat, gluttonous slugs.
Yes.
And very positive about the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 8. Lieutenant Ray Tango in Tango and Cash. What? He's Italian. That could happen.
Ray Tango.
Yes, his name is Ramone Tango.
And his partner Foxtrot.
Jesus. Jericho Kane in End of Days. Yeah.
That one, I'll give him that one.
Yeah. You. That's. It's a biblically themed movie in the sense of like End of Days, and he's literally fighting Satan, and his name is Jericho Kane. I mean, really.
It's a little too on the nose.
Little bit.
Where's his brother Abel?
Well,
take a guess. Although I did like that movie in a like close to my heart, it's sort of guilty pleasure kind of way.
what? End of Days?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fine film. I've got no guilty pleasure. I have no guilt here. It's.
Yeah. And that blind man at the door was like, "There's much hate in your heart." I was like, "I like this movie."
Yeah, he literally falls on his sword at the end. I mean, yeah, come on. It's just people say that True Lies is the last true Schwarzenegger 80s style action film. I'd buy that, but End of Days forms a good kind of epilogue to it. And End of Days sneaks in there as a Schwarzenegger 80s action film, just barely. And I like it. Whatever. Ryan Walter says vegans took over. Yeah, well.
Well, you know how it goes.
I mean, for the health of all the SJW fatty cat ladies out there, we should shame and guilt them into veganism. It would probably help with their longevity, Like, good God.
Yeah.
And Pete says, what's wrong with John Matrix? Not a goddamn thing, Pete. That's what I'm saying. What's wrong with that? It's incredibly made up, but awesome.
Sometimes you have to have silly names just to go with the premise,
Yeah. Let's see. Joe Hallenbeck from The Last Boy Scout. Why? Just sounds made up. I've seen that movie. I don't remember it very well at all.
Neither do I.
I know Monkey and Scribe are big fans of it. I think they did one of those movies you should have seen things on it, but
it's a good action film.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all right. I liked it. It's fun. It's not like an overly serious movie. I think it's silly to include it on this list.
Yeah, hey Camels, I'm noticing a lot of Stallone movies. Yeah, yeah. It's
There's a couple of Schwarzeneggers too.
Frank Dux in Bloodsport. Was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it he's Belgian, so it's Frank Duh?
Nah, it's Dux.
Is it really? That's terrible. That's pretty bad. Let's see. Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. What's wrong with Jack Burton?
Nothing.
Yeah. I
That
think you guys
sounds
are
like a-
reaching for names at this point.
See more movies.
Harry Stamper in Armageddon? I guess. Number 14. Darren McCord in Sudden Death. Does he hang for McCord? Oh, they're going off. Was Patty McShamrock already taken? Okay,
That's pretty funny.
I get your point. Fair enough. All right, Darren McCord, you win. All right. 15. Mason Storm in Hard to Kill. Yeah, okay, now we're back to making some sense here.
Mason Storm.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. Thank you very much, Evolved Potato, for posting our links. That's always appreciated. You rock, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it. 16. Castor Troy in Face Off. Go to hell. I'll tell you how to get there. The Castor Troy is a fine name.
Yes.
That movie's so dumb.
We're not going to get into it. It's a great film.
It's great, but it's silly.
Yeah, I never said it wasn't, but yes, it's silly, and it takes
have the same head structure.
Okay, Jack. No one is saying that you don't have to really exercise your suspension of disbelief. Yeah, you do. But you have to with Star Trek and lots of other shit too.
Yeah, I just had a hard time doing it. When I was in the theater watching that movie, some guy yelled out, "Where did the doves come from?"
Yeah.
From John Woo's mind is the answer.
Well, all I gotta say about that movie is that it doesn't matter because it gives us uh John Travolta doing a Nicolas Cage impression. That in and of itself is worth the price of admission.
I
Yeah.
100% agree. Cage does not do a good Travolta impression, but Travolta nails Cage. And so with the suspension of disbelief, I mean, I get it. If it's unacceptable, yeah, the whole film's just going to be a load of bullshit. But if you can, it's a John Woo action film, so there's plenty of great action sequences. That boat race is unbelievable. Some of their gunfight scenes are fantastic. I mean, it's John Woo.
That movie needed Chow Yun-fat in any role, and not to have Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, because I don't particularly care for them as actors.
Well, I will say
That's
this.
one of my main complaints.
Where you're not wrong is that every action movie needs more Chow Yun-fat. You're not wrong.
Well, yeah.
Especially if John Woo's directing. Well, okay, I just want to read their explanation here. I put this further down the list because this is the bad guy's name in the movie. Well, yes, but it's really hard to think of a more awful name for a character than Castor Troy. What was the process in coming up with that name? Because I really want to know the genesis for how that name came out of someone's mouth. Castor Troy, now that I think about it, might be the douchiest name in movie history. The movie, when it came out, was a huge hit, but looking back now, it's pretty absurd. No, it was absurd then, but, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Once the face-off thingy happens with Cage and Travolta, you got each of them trying to do an impression of one another for a majority of the movie, and it's great. And not in the true sense of the word. Cage actually does a pretty good Travolta. He does, and does show some of his acting chops, but Travolta trying to do Cage is just awful. No, you've got that exactly backwards. Anyway, can we agree that Travolta really only has been good once in the last 30 years, i.e. Pulp Fiction? Okay, I can explain it for you. Castor and Pollux are the two twin brothers that were there on the edge of the river Tiber, raised by a wolf. It's the central foundational myth of the city of Rome. Like Romulus and Remus, and then Castor and Pollux. Like, these are old Roman myths.
You got to remember, man, most people, especially when they were public schooled, only know the Iliad.
Okay. Well, I mean, it just... My point being is that Castor and Pollux are as foundational as of names in Roman mythology as are Romulus and Remus, the twins on the River Tiber. And then Troy, yeah, they just went for the ancient city of Troy that the Iliad is around, right?
Yeah.
That's where it came from. It's... Frosted Glass said Pulp Fiction sucks. I don't agree with you. It's just refreshing to hear somebody say that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Polly, do you just switch off whenever I say that Pulp Fiction sucks?
No, I just don't hear it from a lot of people. I know you say it, but Quiz, listen, don't take this the wrong way, but you think a lot of fucking things suck, man. Like
I do.
So
I'm very selective about what I like.
There's much hate in your heart.
Like when you say you
know
like
what?
something, that's what sends my ears up. Not when you say something sucks,
I'll say this, man. It's better to have a lot of hate in your heart for shit that doesn't matter. Like if I can sit there and say I loathe this movie, I'm not saying I loathe that person. So,
yeah. All right, let's see what the last one is. Oh, Win! Dalton in Roadhouse. Excellently done. I agree. That's a great one to finish it up. The stupidest name ever. It's like
Dalton.
It's like, you got a name? He turns around, pulls a drag off his shirt, and goes, "Yeah." That's it. He's so hard. Like, you just call me Dalton. It's clearly just his last name, but it's like, oh shit, I heard of you. It's just, you guys have all seen Roadhouse, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
Fucking just like that movie is awful, but awesome. I mean, it's so stupid. I love it. I'm a huge fan of that film.
While you were reading, I found a few extra names that were not included on this list.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I would like to submit for consideration.
Hell yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, Mutt Williams. That was Shia LaBeouf's character in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That's a good call. Mutt
Williams
is a little lame of an attempt to sound like a 50s biker, like it. Like, why didn't you go with like I'm James 23 Skidoo Williams? You know what I mean? Like,
Were they trying to go with the whole thing from Last Crusade about the we named the dog Indiana?
I think they were going for a rebel without a cause kind of thing.
absolutely. It was so
But-
obvious. Like I'm trying to think of something else that would be as 50s as Mutt or 23 Skidoo. Like it.
Yeah.
I-
What about Rensme Cullen from the Twilight Saga?
Renesmee, but yeah.
That's just as bad.
It was a combination of two different names. It makes sense in the lore.
How about Flipper Purify?
What? What the fuck is Flipper Purify?
That was Wesley Snipes' character in Jungle Fever.
You're kidding.
Nope.
His first name was Flipper, like the dolphin.
Yep.
That is shocking.
And I found a Nicolas Cage one up. Memphis Reigns from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Hold on.
Memphis Reigns, yeah.
So let me guess. Is that what's her name's character?
Oh,
No,
Nick
it's
Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
That's Nicolas Cage? Oh. What's
Yeah.
what's her name's name?
No, I don't remember.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Puffy Lips McGee there.
And Torrance Shipman from Bring It On.
Torrance Shipman.
Shipman.
Who's that? Queen Latifah?
No, that was Kirsten Dunst in Bring It On.
Oh, right. Bring It On. That's the cheerleader film.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the bank robbing movie with the four fatties. What was
Oh,
that?
no. If you haven't watched Bring It On and touch yourself inappropriately to it, you're not manning correctly.
God.
That was out loud, wasn't it? Damn it.
Crack says it pains me that you possess knowledge of the sparkly vampire lore, Polly. I was made to watch that series twice by an ex-girlfriend, but it's okay. I made her pay for it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to watch it with her, Paul.
I did.
You didn't want to run with the joke. Okay, I get it.
No, I'm not.
I was say Gone in 60 Seconds has some of the best names, man. Some of the best names. Angelina Jolie's character is Sarah Wayland. Giovanni Ribisi is Kip Raines. Robert Duvall is Otto Hallowell.
Wait a minute.
let's
Hate
see.
Camel just said that Angelina Jolie's character in Gone 60 Seconds was named Sway.
Well, Sway was her nickname.
So her name is what? Sway what?
Sarah Sway Wayland.
Okay.
Yeah, Sarah Wayland.
That's not as
Sway.
far gone as I thought it would have been.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been like,
Let's say Vinnie Jones.
goddess,
the
Sway goddess, because she just, the way she thinks of herself.
Well, Vinnie Jones is the Sphinx.
Okay.
Yeah, that movie's terrible.
What are you talking about? That movie's great.
I had a date with a chick when that movie came out, and she jumped every time something happened. She was so skittish.
I mean, it's no. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's the one where Nicolas Cage is. Have you been dragged outside and beaten to your pissed blood? That's one of my favorites.
Oh, so is it cool or corny, Carl Weathers' character in Rocky? Apollo Creed?
That's kind of catchy.
I can see it. I think it works because Carl Weathers is just awesome.
Yeah.
It brings it through for him. It's oh, I got one. Days of Thunder. Tom Cruise's character, Cole Trickle.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll give you that one.
You came up with that, didn't you, Cruise? Didn't you? It's
Probably some Scientology stuff.
Pete's asking, Wayland, isn't that from Alien franchise and Aliens vs Predator? Wayland is an actual surname, but yeah, it's the Wayland is part of the name of the big mega corporation that terraforms planets in the Alien mythos. It's Wayland Yutani. There's my nerd cred for the evening. You two had your fight about Venom. I was able to flex on alien knowledge.
That's cool.
Look at this. I think this says a lot. Okay. Here's Brie Larson dressed as Britney Spears for Halloween.
Ew.
Okay, but look at her face. She is able to muster less expression than Britney Spears.
We're just waiting for the picture to
Yep.
come up. On
No,
this.
I understand.
Now, do you think that she would be able to pull off a convincing Kristen Stewart?
I'm not willing to say that Brie Larson is that unemotive.
So, NC Triad area local music, I'm assuming North Carolina, there was a NASCAR racer named Dick Trickle. Well, that explains a lot, actually.
Yeah, Dick Trickle, yeah.
I would have changed my name.
But would you?
Well, dude,
I mean, why if that's your actual name? It just
an ex-girlfriend used to live next door to a guy whose name was Richard Less.
well, I mean, think about poor Stan Lee. It's like Stanley what? You know.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Well, dude, his name was Dickless. Come on.
Well, yeah. But I mean, yeah. Was Chris Christopherson his actual name?
I don't think so.
Because it sounds a little made up. Like our parents, like, I mean, I realize there's parents in the real world that name their kids stupid shit like Reality Winner.
Pilot, Spectre.
Northwest.
Yeah, right. I mean, there are some insane people out there, no question. But like again, look at her. Like she's pulling on her ponytail, right? And she's supposed to be doing the high school temptress, cute, seductive, alluring girl, like the Britney Spears, right? And she's sitting there holding her ponytail, so she's supposed to be doing an alluring, facial expression.
Look,
that's her alluring facial expression. It's the same as every other expression she gives.
That look of disinterest and annoyance is actually fairly common for me. So I would actually find this kind of hot.
It's isn't that where she was it's not like a Halloween costume, but wasn't that like her first movie she was in?
I don't know what to tell you. It just says Captain Marvel star Brie Larson dresses Britney for Halloween.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Turns out Chris Christopherson is his real name.
Oh, who names their kid Christopher Christopherson? You morons.
Well, apparently that would be Mary Ann and Lars Christopherson.
I personally think it's okay. Did you guys hear about the one thing that Brie Larson got all up in arms about? Is the fact that her first ever acting role was in a Disney Channel movie that's on Disney Plus, and she's offended because she wasn't comped a free Disney Plus membership.
Yeah, that's what this article is about, but I didn't care to read it. It's Captain Marvel's on Disney Plus, but Brie Larson hasn't been given an account. Yeah, I saw this article and I just wanted to make fun of Brie Larson's incredibly wooden face.
Brie Larson is the worst kind of person. The worst.
Because do you notice that she's got a Halloween tree? Let's just not ignore the fact she's got a Halloween tree.
She feels entitled because she did work at once upon a time. Go fuck yourself, cunt. You're not entitled to shit. You have to pay like all the other plebeians. You don't get to sit up there in your ivory tower and get comped a $9 a month fucking subscription. Go fuck yourself with every splintery pole in that entire fucking mansion you live in. You absolute reprehensible cunt. Fuck you.
Well, let's also point out something else here, and I think the ladies in the audience will get what I'm talking about. Why didn't you, like, you're a very wealthy lady, Brie Larson. Why didn't you just get your skirt hemmed up if you wanted to wear it short? Why did you pull it up all the way to the bottom of your rib cage? Because Britney
No,
Spears
she-
certainly didn't dress like that back in the day. It was pulled all the way down, like to where a skirt normally sits.
She had to hide the fact that she doesn't have a belly button because she's an alien construct.
I think that she is trying to hide the fact that she doesn't have the figure that she wishes that she had, but wants to dress like she does.
Yeah.
No, dude, this is a common tactic because you know who doesn't have belly buttons? Reptiles.
Oh, because they're born in eggs, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Reptile
wow.
confirmed. You're welcome, world.
Thank you very much, Frank, for the $3. He says there was a football player who went by Dick Richard Felt on the Patriots at one point. Dick Felt?
Dick felt.
Wow.
So have you been Dick Felt yet?
Dick felt. Dick Richard felt. Dick felt.
Oh, it's like Duck Duck Goose, but with your wang.
Yeah.
Dick Felt.
Anyway, let's get Brie Larson.
Oh yeah, Duck Duck pointed out robots also don't have belly buttons.
Mm.
Well,
I
that
would
would
buy
explain
her
her
being a
android-like face.
Yeah, I would buy her being a robot more than
She
lizard.
may be a Terminator. I don't know. Have you seen anyone named John Connor around her? Because I haven't.
I say Citron says I have what did he say? Hold on. I have a beautiful way with words. I could have gone with the whole Rocco thing from Boondock Saints. What the fucking what the fucking fuck? Certainly illustrates the diversity of the word.
Did you know that Disney is rumored to be shooting multiple Batman movies back to back?
Disney is?
Did I say Disney? I meant Warner Brothers.
Okay.
That would actually be a good idea.
I don't
Yes.
remember anything from the past. What could be half an hour or hour and a half? I'm just zoning right
That's
now,
okay.
guys.
That's
So let's see. Rumor: Warner Brothers shooting multiple Batman movies back to back. A new rumor details that Warner Brothers is doing exactly what I just said. Randolph, where's he from? YouTuber Grace Randolph. What? Oh
No
God,
idea.
that woman? That's a Grace Randolph? Holy fuck!
That's a Grace Randolph.
I mean, she certainly got her one eyebrow raised game down. I'll give her that. Okay, and what does Grace Randolph say? I'm hearing that they're shooting multiple Batman movies back to back, which makes it even more likely that Jeff Loeb's comics. It makes it even more like the Jeff Loeb's comics that Matt Reeves has said he's taking inspiration from. Where are you hearing this from? What's going on? This is a bad rumor.
It's unsubstantiated, and you're getting it from a fucking YouTuber who, up until this point, none of us have heard of. So
I got a salt lick for you to take this with, not a grain of salt, but a whole salt lick to take this
All
with,
right.
guys.
Yeah.
She's got a horse face.
I see what you did there. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, she does have a horse face. It's
She does. She
yeah.
does.
I mean, you're
Not as-
going a little heavy with the eyeliner there, Grace. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
but
Ease
not
up.
as much as what's her nuts? Gwyneth. Well, yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow too. But who's that other one? The one that was in Kill Bill? Uma Thurman.
Yeah, you really hate Uma Thurman.
I do.
Is it her giant clown feet?
No, it's her fucking horse face. She has as much of a horse face as fucking Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, she's not that bad. She's close, but she's not that bad.
No, she's awful.
So it would actually make sense to do this in a lot of ways because it worked for Back to the Future 2 and 3. And
Mhm.
if you're going to have a part 1 and part 2, you want to shoot them back to back.
Yeah.
Yes, because you don't want the actors getting too old to play their roles.
Yeah.
Any of that.
And
Yeah,
they
or-
list this off. Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy was also filmed back to back, as was James Cameron, who's currently filming multiple Avatar. Nobody cares about Avatar.
Avatar.
At the very least, I'd like to think that nobody cares. Maybe they do, and I'm apt for more depression with what people like. I don't know.
Dude, when that movie came out, that was all anyone could talk about. And I didn't know anyone that liked it, but it made so much money.
Because everybody wants to see it for the visual effects.
Yeah.
Not even our animation like teams went to go see it for the visual effects. And I didn't know any VFX majors that went to go see it.
No, but
Almost-
normies all thought it was a very pretty movie. The
Oh,
plot
man.
made no sense, and they were after unobtainium, really.
Oh my god, that was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of. Unobtainium.
The
It's mixed with the we made this shit up alloy.
Ramen Noodles asked Jeff Loeb's comics. Yeah, Jeff Loeb has written a whole number of Batman comics of story arcs, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, whole bunch. And I don't get the reference of back to back because he didn't exactly do them back to back, but they were a number of them in a row. I don't really get the illusion there.
I think what they're trying to get to is that they're filming a 2-part movie, and it's probably going to be the Long Halloween.
Which I'm okay with. If they use it as like direct inspiration, that would be pretty awesome. It's a fantastic storyline.
Yeah.
Matt Winter asks, am
Yeah,
I
I
high
pitched-
again? Yes, I have taken a hell of a ton of pseudoephedrine today. I just took another half one about what I'm assuming was around 20 minutes ago. And yeah, I'm drifting, man. It's probably sooner than later to end the stream is a good idea.
Sorry, Evil One. Avatar was really just a remake of Fern Gully.
Well, everyone kept on saying at the time that it was a remake of Pocahontas, but yeah, no, Fern Gully is absolutely more apropos.
And a lot of Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Comments in that direction. I mean, somebody going native and then fighting on their side is like, I mean, that's got to be one of the 14 stories that you can tell of all stories. You know what I mean? It's just such a classic idea. I mean, it's Lawrence of Arabia. It's The Samurai with Tom Cruise. It's like, the list goes on.
I say Jake Thompson has that's actually a fairly good way of putting it. Unobtainium always sounded like a placeholder that they forgot to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assassin pointed out that's what it was called in the core, too.
So the two stories that we have left are ones that we were just talking about before we went live that we just want to talk about generally. Yeah, I have articles for them, but I mean, it's really more what we have to talk about and our thoughts in and around them. First one is from Bleeding Cool. By the way, fuck you, Rich Johnson. I mean, for no particular reason, just like right now, for all of the reasons we're aware of. Fuck you, man. Diamond accidentally leaks Marvel ordering data to 200 comic stores, among the few remaining, he should have said.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the story. Diamond Distributors runs a monopoly in a very real way for distributing Marvel, DC, IDW, everyone. Diamond Distribution really is the what do you call it, market? The direct market.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are the market,
Yeah, there's no other, competitor that anyone can go to.
Yeah, so Chad, if you want to open a comic store, you open it. Where do you order your comics from? Diamond. That's who. You want Marvel comics, you order from them. You want DC, order from them. IDW from them. Boom from them. List goes on.
Yeah, so I talked to a retailer friend of mine, and he was telling me offhandedly about this on Sunday. And he said, yeah, we got this email, because usually they send out a handful of emails every week that are all completely worthless, and you just ignore them and delete them. But they sent one that said, please delete the previous email we sent. So, of course, he's like, well, now I got to know. So he got into a group of other retailers to find out what was up. And he found out that they had accidentally attached an Excel spreadsheet with all the retailers' names, account numbers, contact information, contact names, and how much money they spent on average last month.
And year to date.
Well, if you know anything about Excel, you know how they get those numbers. All that data for the last year is in there. So you could go through and see everything that every store had ordered for the past year, number wise. So you would also know how much they're ordering. You could also tell like how their store is doing basically
Yeah.
through this information, because there was a lot hidden in the metadata. And most retailers don't know how to read Excel, apparently. So you could actually find out who in your region is doing poorly and outmarket them, I guess.
Now, is that something that you experienced in running a shop like that? That there was that sort of cutthroat interactions between other people that had comic shops? Because the comic shop that I go to, if he doesn't have the comics that I'm looking for specifically, he's got several other contacts that run comic shops that he calls to ask if they have those issues in stock.
Yeah, most retailers actually work together because they're far enough away from each other that it's not a big deal. If this had happened in the 90s, this would have been a bloodbath
No, yeah,
because you had a lot more stores within the same region as each other.
that's
Whereas
true.
now, if you're in a major city, there's probably only 4 shops in the whole city. If they're even a couple miles apart, they're not competing with each other. But so this isn't as big of a deal as it could have been, but it's still a reckless thing to do.
But
Get
it's fine.
this.
You just gotta delete it.
It-
You just gotta delete it. It's fine.
This is telling as hell about the kind of shiltastic access media, undeniably, that Bleeding Cool is, as we suspect them to be, in my opinion. Today, Diamond will be issuing the following statement to all retailers. For Christ's sake, Bleeding Cool had it before they issued it.
Yep.
Why? Why would they have that? I just read through the article while you guys are talking, and yeah, damage control. You nailed it. It's like, who do we contact that's friendly, that will write what we want to write and put this out? Rich Johnson at Bleeding Cool, amongst others. But I mean, Rich is top of that list. I mean, that guy will do whatever we say. And he did. When you read through it, like, who was it? Somebody just mentioned in chat Midtown Comics. What about Midtown Comics? And it's like, yeah, they're over $1 million a year. Huge purchasing. For those of you who don't know, it's a massive comic book store, right? And it has been for a long time. The big one down in Florida as well. And Johnson mentions them in here. But what he doesn't mention is what Van Sciver focused on when he was talking about the leak, and someone sent him a copy of the XLS spreadsheet. It's like, look at the majority of them. They're all around $7,000.
Yeah.
You know, it's low amounts, man. Like, meaning they're just not ordering in that much because they're not moving that much. Wait a minute. I thought the comment, now this is only Marvel. That's key, right? It's only Marvel, right? But it's, like, here's the data, not their lies about we moved, 32 million units, all these nice round numbers, you know what I mean? And then Comicron attempting to do the best that they can, and Comicron is a great resource for getting numbers, but these are the actual numbers of what they bought and what it was worth. Well, not what their purchases were worth in actual figures. And it doesn't look good out there, is the short version. Purchase amounts are low, except for like the ultra big guys. You know what I mean? And it's, thank you very much, Mike Parlay. I say, kissy face rogue, yay! I love that gif. What game is that from, Quiz? You said, I forgot.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel vs. Capcom. It's great. Somebody went through all the trouble to capture and do transparent backgrounds for all of the rogue images. And there's one of her blowing a kiss and a little heart comes up. I'm like, what could be better for the $1 donation? I love it. None of that is mentioned in his article. This is just what Jack described it as, damage control. It was leaked and it's no big deal, and just, return it to us. And the reason why you should return it to us is not because of the low figures, and it shows how little Marvel's actually shipping, because Marvel's pissed about this.
Yeah.
What are you doing releasing our actual shipment figures to comic book stores? People are going to know how we make our money. And how do you make your money? The very few massive stores like Midtown and people that are buying comics to put out special editions. They're making their money off of one-off special editions, not on the monthly sales across the nation at all.
Yeah, and this exposes how little is actually being ordered, but it doesn't account for overships, which is where they pad those numbers, and stuff like loot crates and promotional stuff that they also count as sales.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the problem is more, I think, that it exposes how bad the industry is doing if you know what to look for.
Oh yeah, there. Mike Parlett's comment finally came up on the Streamlabs site. Rich is a hack. Well, yeah.
True story.
Yeah, like he's the this is thinking, what's an example of access media? He's one of the first guys I think of, because other people may be more access oriented, but no one makes it as obvious as Rich Johnson. Nobody.
Yeah.
It's whenever any story needs to be told from the company's perspective, whatever company it is, Rich is there to help them out.
Free gay Iceman comics.
So, I mean, there's that story, and it's not good news. It's bad news. It's just, hey, guess what? It's as bad as the rumors have been.
I honestly think if they hadn't told people to delete that email, nobody would have noticed this.
Little Streisandism in work.
Yeah, because it was an attachment on a nothing email. How many people read every single email they get from the company?
Well, how many people open attachments too?
Yeah, if it's on a nothing, pointless junk email and it's an attachment, what a waste of my time.
Well, no, that's fishy as fuck.
Yeah. Like my buddy had to go through and track it down in his junk folder or trash folder because he's like, well, now I want to see it.
This other article is sort of like tangentially related to something that we talked about previously. So Vic Mignogna, well-known voice actor, producer of Star Trek Continues, producer of jingles. The guy's been at work in all sorts of things, especially anime, for years and years and years, right? Gets accused of a whole bunch of things on Twitter. Inappropriate behavior with women, is called every name in the book, from P to the E to the D to the O, all to assaulter, every name, right? Rooster Teeth, who he's under contract with to do, they're a dubbing studio, gets fired from them, and gets fired from Funimation, who's also under contract to do a bunch of voice work with. He sues the voice actors and Funimation, who for defaming him and costing him all this con appearances and all sorts of other things, right? And that's been going on. And during this, and I think it was Jack that's put this article in the DMs. I can't quite remember. But then again, I don't remember what I did 6 or 7 hours ago either. Rooster Teeth vice president arrested after wife alleges brutal abuse and strangulation. Jesus Christ. She called the cops after she came to from blacking out. Like, this story is awful. This
fucking dark.
Like, this fucking guy, right? It's like, and this isn't allegations, if you know what I mean. She shows up, beat the fuck up, and like, son of a bitch, this guy. Like, this guy's a fucking monster. And it's, so anyway, Rooster Teeth, who, you know, whole bunch of bad things are being said about a voice actor that we have a contract with that are vague, no proof, no evidence, and happened years and years and years ago. It's in some cases, in most cases. So, we need to fire this guy, get rid of him. Meanwhile, their vice president is doing what? Well, let's find out. In an arrest warrant.
Smacking around his wife.
Oh, doing much more than that, man. You don't know the details? It's just like Jack says, fucking dark. The wife of a vice president of an Austin-based company, Rooster Teeth, alleges that her husband brutally attacked her on November 8th, and the attack was a part of a pattern of abuse. The warrant states that Travis County Sheriff's Office believes that Michael Jonathan Quinn, 39, committed family violence through aggravated assault, a second-degree felony. This document was filed, etc. Quinn's wife said in the affidavit that he works for Rooster Teeth Productions, which is in Austin. A LinkedIn account also lists Michael Quinn in Austin as the vice president of product and engineering. They reached out to Rooster Teeth, who had no comment. But, however, they did get back to them to confirm that Michael Quinn is no longer employed with the company. Shh, don't say anything. Let it go away. The detective involved said she was violently assaulted by her husband. Where's the part about him pointing a gun at her head saying, "I'll fucking kill you"?
Pete asked an interesting question. Is he a male feminist?
Right? Who would be surprised? On November 8th, she told the deputies that she came home from work to find her husband at home after a night of partying. She said he began to verbally berate her, then began punching her despite her cries for him to stop. She recalled her husband laughing at her as she cowered in pain. She said her husband pointed a handgun at her head, but soon told her afterwards, "If I'm going to kill you, I'm going to use my hands." She recalled trying to run away, but he crushed her hand in the door as she attempted to exit. Her husband continued punching her and hit her into the head with a 3-hole punch. Eventually, she said her husband strangled her until she lost consciousness. She recalls when she came to, her husband had bit her and pushed her to the ground, talking more about how he was going to kill her. It was a death grip. I thought I was going to die.
Wait, he waited till she was awake again to bite her?
No, after she awakened, she realized he had bitten her.
Oh, okay. That's because that's more psycho. Like, wake up, I want to bite you.
He probably didn't realize that she was unconscious or something, I guess. After a while, she said her husband grew exhausted and eventually walked away. Quinn's wife said she immediately went to report the assault. And yeah, so he's out on bond and other things like that. But this is all going on. Now, let me ask you a question. They all stood up and said that the company Rooster Teeth should conduct an investigation. Mars Girl, Arms Girl, and all the voice actors and those engaged to voice actors, looking at you, Ron Toy, all stood up and said the companies, Rooster Teeth and Funimation, should denounce this man, Vic Mignogna, and get rid of him because these people are saying he did bad things on Twitter. Really? So you must have really come out and denounced the fuck out of this guy, huh?
No.
No, not a peep. Why, it's almost like that was extremely targeted at Vic, and you were only using these things, saying these things to up the ante and up the pressure on this guy until eventually he got fired and disinvited from all the conventions that you were going to. It's almost like you just had a personal hate on for this guy because he wasn't part of your little in-group at Funimation. I mean, after all, he was the only guy who didn't come to your recording studio. He was the only guy who didn't use Chris... Guy who does the voice of Vegeta. What's his name? Sabat. He was the only guy that wasn't under contract by Chris Sabat to use his studio exclusively. He was the only outlier of that entire group. And he was more successful than all of you. It's almost like you hated this man. And came up with all these things. Because now when somebody who provably did far worse, you're silent as a church mouse. It's weird.
Well, Polly, this guy's an ally and probably a male feminist.
Yeah. Anyway, the final thing I want to talk about before we move on to pitches, because wow, I really got to wrap this up. The room's spinning.
That's not good.
The Vic case came to somewhat of a partial conclusion, this aspect of it anyway. Vic had all of the charges, the civil complaints laid against, let's see, Ron Toy, Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, and Funimation Studios were the 4 named people that he had pursued civil action against for defamation and civil conspiracy, meaning all get together and say, we're going to defame this guy, etc. All those charges were dismissed by the judge. He's going to go ahead and appeal, but that's still up in the air. But for the meantime, part of the dismissal process in Texas, you become liable for their fees, their lawyer fees that they had to hire to fight the case against you. And also the, what are they called? Punitive damages. In other words, fees that or amounts of money that you're charged so you don't go bringing frivolous suits again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They hit you up, they hit you in your wallet to make sure you don't bring stupid shit up against people like this again.
Yeah.
I forget the exact numbers, but they're a lot lower than they requested. The judge decided on the individual amounts. I forget how much it is. Grand total of $5,000, $5,000, $2,500, $2,500 for a total of $15,000 across all of them, including across all the people, Real, Markey, Toy, and Rooster Teeth as a company. Grand total of $15,000 in what do you call it? I've already forgotten.
like legal fees or whatever.
No, not legal fees, the punitive ones. Thank you. Yeah, only 15 grand in punitive damages, fees, whatever. And then the legal fees are low, man. It's not enough to cover their legal fees. Not close. Now, Vic has a big, as they call it, war chest, which was a GoFundMe started by Nick Rekieta to fund his legal fight against them for the perceived wrongs that they had done to him by defaming him, as he claims, right? So his fees are being paid by that GoFundMe. Well, they didn't do a GoFundMe because no one would have paid into it, I think. And the claim over on Nick Rekieta's channel, and I do find it funny, they know better than I do. Ty Beard, who's Vic Mignogna's lawyer, and Nick Rekieta are postulating how much could they have charged, and it's like, who knows? We know what they asked for, which is going to be what they charged or more in legal fees, because there's also filing fees and all sorts of other things associated with that. So we can only assume it was that or more that they charged them, and that wasn't enough money even to come close to the amount they asked for. So it's like these guys are on the hook. So here's my question to you, Jack and Quiz. You guys have known about this story the whole time. Let's say at this point, as it stands, has Vic won? Because his claimed reason was to fix his reputation that had been completely destroyed, and it had been, man. It was in the trash. After he got fired, disinvited from 10, 12 different conventions, couldn't get hired as a voice actor. Well, he's got new contracts as a voice actor. He's going to conventions. The people that he brought to court now owe a lot of money for the process of going through court, which they would have if he had won. So they owe money. He's done a lot to rehabilitate his general reputation with his fan base. Do you think he's won?
No.
No.
Okay, so what more would need to happen to have him win-win, do you think?
The appeal should go through and be overturned.
Okay.
The ruling be overturned. Because, like it or not, the legal case and everything like that does set a public perception. Now people, regardless of what happens in the future for Vic, people can and will say, "Hey, you remember that time that you filed that lawsuit for us calling you a racist and you lost? It's because you're a racist."
Right.
Those sorts of claims. That's the reason why I say that. The reason why it's important that Richard Myers wins his lawsuit against Mark Waid.
Yeah.
Is not because of the damages. It's not because of the money. It's not because of any of that. It's to prove and to show that these people cannot get away with doing whatever the fuck they want with anyone else's reputation. Doesn't matter if you can rehabilitate yourself afterwards. They need to learn that actions have consequences.
Yep.
And they didn't. They didn't with the Vic Mignogna case. They did not learn that at all.
Monkey's leaving. Bye, Monkey.
See you later, Monkey.
Later, Monkey.
Now, I hear your point. I mean, I've said that a bunch of times, especially with the Richard Meyer v. Wade. That the point is just talking trash on Twitter, because Mars Girl and et al., all of their supporters on Twitter are like, they repeated that those charges being dismissed means that Vic did the assaults that he did. That was their takeaway from that.
Yeah.
See, now it's been proved in a court of law that he did this, and it's like, Jesus Christ, that's what you took from that? So I hear you, Quiz. But the question that remains in my mind is, let's say Vic won on all counts. Do you really think they'd be convinced of anything and still not think it's a good idea to run around brigading people? You think that's going to convince them?
I don't think it would convince them to stop brigading people, but I think it might give some people pause from joining in the dog pile.
Yeah. Plus
if they find out that they can be culpable.
Yeah, I hear you.
Plus it would vindicate him as far as his reputation goes. That I sued over this and I won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I don't think he's anywhere near made whole by any of this.
Because I've heard some people claiming that he won, like
No.
he achieved a measure of what he set out to do. My thought on it is a measure of it, yes, but not complete. But I'm happy to see he's in a hell of a lot better place than he was in February.
Yes.
That's how short ago it was. This stuff happened like lightning, man.
This is gonna haunt him forever, though. This is a band-aid on a leaking dam.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, it's a patch fix at best, and if he can go forward and have a successful career, that's all well and good. But the fight should never be over until you go scorched earth on these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, Evil One says that. Not until not till they burn. Yeah, I hear you, Evil One. I know what you mean. It's because like they have to feel that. Like, Jesus Christ, do you think maybe we went a little far with this? But yeah, you think?
No, it's there's an old adage: crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women.
The lamentations of the women.
Or in Monica's place, the lamentations of their soy.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, that motherfucker shouldn't have. There's nobody who it's easier to point at and say, this is this guy's entire doing everything he's going through.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some people can have an up in the air type question. It's like, well, if Marky and Rial really thought this happened to him, let's just say for the sake of argument, okay, then maybe they went too far with it, but there was a base reason. Why is Toye involved at all? Like, it's like, I get you can, because I want to support my woman. Yeah, support her IRL. Supporting her on Twitter is you wanting to be on Twitter, man. That came from you wanting to do it. You should have been telling Rial, you should have been telling Monica, honey,
get off Twitter.
Yeah, get the fuck off Twitter. That's what a man would have said. It's like, look how much trouble this is. You've said your piece. You said what you want to say. You're just giving these people that you claim are nothing but a bunch of trolls a target to come after. Instead, he gives them 2 targets to come after. Oh, good thinking, Ron.
Yep.
I mean, that's not support. That's stupidity. That's encouragement to internet fuckery that doesn't help you in any way. And as a matter of fact, landed both of you in court carrying on like a couple of morons. I mean, he's not a voice actor. He's not even involved in this, save the fact he's been engaged to Monica for, 5 years or whatever the fuck it was. Pull the trigger, man. As a saying, calm down, YouTube. It means get it done.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, gentlemen.
Commit to something.
Commit. Yes, it means commit. It's just, this show's not for children.
No, it's not.
Let's do some pitches, gentlemen, and wrap this bad boy up.
Sweet.
Sure.
So I'm ready to go. You guys can go first if you want to. Either or. What do you think?
Yeah, it's up to you.
All right, I'm going to pitch mine first.
Oh, Jake.
Jake wants to pitch.
Mine is an unlikely choice, but I'm claiming it to speak for the entire series as an example of what doesn't happen in comics no mo. It's a bad cover. It's a great comic. This is Web of Spider-Man number 20. Look at that cover. That's awful. That's we didn't have time to bring in a cover artist, and the artist himself, Silvestri, didn't have time to do a separate piece of pinup art for the cover. So here, Spider-Man's face. It's pretty lame, but the comic itself is fucking incredible. Let's just take a look. It's a poor scan, unfortunately. Sorry about that. This story takes place where Peter Parker and Joy Mercado, who was at the time a reporter for a magazine that the Daily Bugle, Daily Bugle was putting out called Now Magazine. And she's the lead intrepid investigative reporter working for it. They go off to the UK to do some investigative reporting. He's the photographer tagging along, Peter is. And boom, when they're at the airport, the IRA sets off a bomb and they get caught up in a terrorist mystery. Who's bombing? Why? Who's doing the shootings? What the hell? And it's a David Michelini. I believe that's how you pronounce it, right? Michelini or Michelini?
I don't know.
Yeah, David Michelini written story and drawn by the fantastic Alan Silvestri. It It's a great story. It progresses at a breakneck pace. It's a true mystery story that is deep and dense. It's more about the mystery of who's behind it and all of the problems that Peter gets himself into. Joy Mercado is she's like, I got to get the scoop. I'm going to, run headlong into a hail of bullets because I want to ask that guy why he's shooting. Like, she's that kind of reporter. And Peter's like trying to keep her out of trouble while not revealing that he's Spider-Man. So he can't jump into his spider suit because why is Spider-Man suddenly over in England? So he puts on his web shooters and I'm going to, web snap this guy's gun away from him and knock him the fuck out secretly. It's a great story. You find out that it's, without spoilers, that the guy who thinks he's fighting the good fight for Irish freedom is actually being manipulated by other people to act as their pawn. And that story is slowly being uncovered, and it's a big reveal who it is in the end. When you read this story, it feels a hell of a lot more like it goes over 2 or 3 issues because the story is so dense. And what I mean by it reminds me of things gone by that we don't have no more. Well written out stories by writers that could easily go off and write novels if they wanted to. They're not Zoe Quinn. They have an idea, a core idea, and do their best to stretch it out over 22, 23 pages. Where writers on the level of Mignogna have a beginning, middle, and end in mind when they begin to write a story. I know where this is going to go, etc. Notice how wordy everything is, because that's how the plot develops. The images work together with this to tell this story of Peter off in the UK, and he's Spider-Man, and he's smarter than Joy, but he can't reveal that. So a lot of the thoughts going inside his head tell a lot more than what's happening in the scene. It's great. I can't recommend this comic enough. Web of Spider-Man is full of great writing like this. If you want to read anything collected, you like Spider-Man, but you don't know where to start, Web of Spider-Man is a great series. From 1 to issue 100 are as good as it gets. Yeah, it starts to go downhill a little bit after that, but you can read 1 to 100 and it's solid stories the whole way through. Highly recommended. And this particular one is Web Spider-Man number 20, when Spidey gets into a fight with Irish terrorists. Off.
Matt Winter wanted me to inform you that Ron Toye is attempting to be a voice actor.
Is he really? I did not know that.
I neither. I didn't know there was a need for Smurfs.
Is that? Yeah, I've heard the guy talk. What does he think? What's he going to do? Like little kids' voices or something?
I guess.
Anyway, what a loser.
I mean, usually done by women.
You're a mortgage broker, aren't you? Isn't that what he does for a day job?
It's like a real estate something. I don't know.
Boring office guy is what he is. All right. Who would like to go, gentlemen?
I can go.
Don't go. Stay.
Oh.
Focus on you. There we go. Always professional around these parts.
Oh, hold on. Just gotta wait for this to pop up. My pitch is written by Dennis O'Neil, art by Neil Adams.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
My pitch is, let me get over to the, because I'm reading it off of a collected edition, and I have a digital copy and a physical copy of this one. So I've got there and share. There you go. It would be Green Lantern number 76. Wait, hold on. Am I screen sharing? Am
No.
I actually screen sharing?
Are you?
Oh, no. I thought, no, you're not.
All right, hang on. I was trying to do the application, but apparently it's not going to work. Share screen.
In the meantime, Peter bought himself a parka for winter. He nicknamed it Peter Parka.
There you go.
That's awful and awesome at the same time. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
So this is the one of the iconic Green Lantern covers. This is the start of the big Green Lantern Green Arrow crossover. You know, in blackest day or in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. And then Green Arrow shooting an arrow through his lantern. recharging battery, saying never again. Essentially, the story follows Hal, who's just coming back from being out in the ether doing ring shit, but coming to Star City and seeing regular street crime. This young thug beating up this big fat dude who's wearing a suit. And so Green Lantern puts him in a whole bunch of shit and throws him in a cage and then sends him off to the police station. And this guy is like, you're a good lad for getting that kid out of here. Yeah. Only to find out he's a real estate mogul that's foreclosing on a building and tearing it down with a whole bunch of low income people. Essentially evicting a whole bunch of low-income people out of this tenement. And then Green Arrow tells Hal, you're out in space doing a whole bunch of shit. Ever give any thought about being human for once and giving a little bit of thought to the everyman? And Hal eventually capitulates, but not without sanction from Oa. The major takeaway is that at the end of this issue, it's kind of important. They come up with the idea that Hal, Oliver, and one of the Watchers, who disguises himself as a human, go on a road trip across the United States in this old beat-up truck to see what it's like to be a human. And it's mainly so that the Watchers can have a better idea of what it's like to be a man. And I think it's the start of an incredibly good story. Like I said, it's go back all the way over here to Green Lantern number 76.
What year is that?
1970.
Oh man, it looks it like awesomely so.
Mm-hmm.
But how much do they eat in the issue?
None.
I mean, what are they baking? Any particular dish that will be in a related video on Marvel's YouTube site?
But that's DC, not Marvel.
Would you put it past Marvel at this point? They didn't even know that Wolverine wasn't Cajun. So
Yeah.
do you think they know they don't own Green Lantern at this point?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh fuck. Okay, pitch a comic, Jack. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right. My comic is written by Garth Ennis, pencils by Jason Burrows, inks by Guillermo Ortega, and covered by Paulo Rivera. This is Punisher Soviet.
Punisher Soviet. Oh, I saw this and I didn't know if I wanted to read it. Is it good?
You want to read this?
Okay.
Cool.
I'll take a look at it.
This is part
Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is awesome.
It's a setup issue.
Oh, so they should have put the R backwards in Punisher.
Oh, that'd have been fun. But the cover is a little deceptive because we don't really know what's going on. And I was actually very hesitant to buy this. Much like you, Quiz, is like, I don't know. Punisher's been garbage for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Nope, this was fun. So there's been somebody running around killing people. Oh, look at that. That's an awesome picture. And Frank's on the trail of some mobsters, and they've been.
Sorry, go ahead.
So he's trying to figure out what's up with there's a leg up here. This is post-explosion.
Jeez.
He's trying to figure out what's going on with this mafia gang, and he's hunting them, but they're like constantly one step ahead of him. Like they start doing different routes for transports and doing convoys and stuff like this. And he catches one of them finally and interrogates him. And you know how well Frank likes to interrogate people.
Mm-hmm.
The interrogation scene is fucking awesome. But he figures out that there's another guy that's been attacking them, and they think it's the Punisher, but it's not. And this guy's been doing this for like 5 years, He's been going after this one gang. So Frank's trying to figure out what's up. It looks like a really good setup to a miniseries. I really enjoyed this issue. Frank was very human, very relatable, very much like just a normal dude trying to murder some people.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah, as you do when you're a vigilante who wants to kill a bunch of criminals.
Oh, never mind. That's an envelope he's reaching for. I thought he was pulling a sandwich out of it. He's eating.
Oh no, that'd have been awesome. No, this guy's one of his informers.
I get it.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. The chase scene is great. The interrogation scene was really funny. Solid work all around. It was one of the best Punisher books I've read in years of modern stuff, for sure.
What's the cover price on this?
$3.99.
Nice. I might
regular cover price.
I might pick this up. How many issues is it going to run for?
I think it's 5.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
That's sweet.
I actually wasn't originally going to pick this up. Like I said, it was kind of an impulse buy. I had a couple extra bucks because one of my books got pushed back a week. So, yeah, it's $3.99.
Yeah,
and it is
cool.
Very explicit language. There's a lot of fuckers in here. Fucking this, fucking that, fucking Punisher, blah, blah, blah. Good time, though. Fun read. Definitely worth the money. And the Punisher should always be R-rated.
Yeah.
And he works best when he's not really a player in the Marvel universe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can have other superheroes team up with him. He did a great team up with Spider-Man one issue where Spider-Man swung in, got his ass kicked, and Punisher's holding him up, using him as a meat shield. And when Peter comes to, he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "We had a team up. You were great." So that was also a Garth Ennis book, but Ennis knows how to write Punisher, and I had a fun time reading this. It really was a good build-up issue, and I was really excited to read issue 2. Unfortunately, that's not going to be out for a few more weeks.
Any sense of what year it's in?
It looks like it's modern day.
Is it? Okay.
So I don't know why it's called Soviet. They haven't explained that, but it does involve the Russian mob, so I think that's a big part of it. But like I said, this is set up, but for a setup issue, for once in the last 10 years of Marvel, I really didn't feel cheated by it. It just was real fast-paced, constantly doing stuff, and you get Frank narrating things in the caption boxes. It was a good time. I really enjoyed this book.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's a fucking damn fine pitch. We got a 70s one, a new comic I'm going to go buy. This is fucking great pitches. Okay.
And nobody cooked anything in this.
Yes. Yeah. If you don't cross-platform market, how do you ever expect to be a lifestyle brand?
I know. Like Frosted said that today on Marvel YouTube, we're making a Punisher panini.
Nice. I had this idea when I was driving to campus the other day. See, what Marvel should do for an overarching story thing is call it Marvel Cold War. And it's all 1980s era stories. And it's like Punisher, like they're more ground level characters. So it's like Punisher, Shield, Black Widow, all involved in like Cold War espionage intrigue stories.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
They did like Noir, and it was like, X-Men, Spider-Man, whatever, all in that era. It's good, Cold War era. And it's all fights along those lines and storylines along those lines. I'd be like, dude, this would be huge. But whatever.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
No, see, it would be fun, and we're not allowed to do that at Disney anymore.
No.
Yeah. And, it's, we can't make those Russians look bad because, they're our Soviet communist future. No, wait a minute. They are bad. They meddled in our election. No, wait a minute. They're fine because they support our socialism. Well, I'm so confused. And so are they.
Yeah. I'm sure the Russians are very confused by the whole thing.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. Do you like us or hate us? Because you're like a guy that's running for your top office. Bernie Sanders loves us and honeymooned here. Do you hate us or what? They don't know.
It's very weird.
Yeah. So anyways, that is it for Comic Book Curation, episode number 71. And I am going to have to listen to this episode tomorrow to find out what the hell I said over the past couple hours, because I don't remember very well. My ears ringing, the room is spinning. It's time to check out, y'all. So final thoughts? Any final thoughts there, guys?
Go buy some comic books.
Yeah.
All right, well said. I like brevity. Okay, So thank you everybody for stopping in. On your way out, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. And if you are so inclined, share on Twitter or just retweet the tweet that I sent out that the show was starting. Thank you very much to those who donated. It is sincerely appreciated. It really is. It helps keep the show afloat. So we can go buy more comics and tell you not to buy them because we just spent money on them. But fortunately, we're only at the end. We're going to be pitching the comics you should buy. You see.
Yes.
So it all works out well.
Makes you stay till the end. Oh, Pete did a video, and there's a link to it if you guys want to watch it and support his channel.
Pete, Australian Pete?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll open that in a tab and go watch it for sure. Cool. All right, so there it is. Thank you for coming by, everybody, and have a good day. We'll see you next week. Oh, for Christ's sake, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming.